in Dysfunctional. Each and every weekday morning, the Pat and Aaron Show.
Is it a little too early for being that loud?
Good Morning Tampa Bay.
And here we go.
Now your hosts, Pat Donovan and Aaron Jacobson.
Good morning, goons. Welcome to the Pat and Aaron Show, 95.3 WDAE and AM 620. Coming to you live on a Tuesday morning. Oh, what's going on here? Do we not have Next Gen up, or do we have technical difficulties? Wow.
No, we have Next Gen in here.
Wow, it's apparently...
Uh-oh.
There it is.
Guess what day it is?
Taco Tuesday!
Usually that Jack and Aaron are talking about like Game of Thrones or Taco Tuesday, and you can't listen to them.
Let me give you some advice, bastard. Never forget what you are. The rest of the world will not wear it like armor.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Are you alleging to start the show, Casey Warner, that was indeed potted up and just didn't work the first 3 times?
Oh, no, it's on over here.
But it was from the get-go?
It was from the get-go.
Oh, very interesting.
Very interesting.
Shame, shame, shame.
Lots of shame today.
To the Tampa Bay Rays. Shame, shame, shame to the Pinellas County Commission. Shame, shame, shame to the city of St. Petersburg. Shame, 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 Seamus Winston.
Wow.
Throwing 3 interceptions,
You're
2
calling
pick
him
sixes.
Seamus Winston.
I love him. I love him. He is a national treasure. He is the best. But he is also Seamus Winston. And the shame goes today. Shame of the day goes to the Rays.
Yes. Goes to everybody. We didn't even say Game of Thrones and Taco Tuesday. Lots of shame to go around.
We didn't even say.
Well, yeah, we didn't even mention
we
it.
Did.
But Jay, I was thinking on my way in, and I agree with you. I also love Jameis Winston. He probably can never be trusted to be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Well,
he might be the best backup quarterback in the NFL, but I just don't know that he's ever going to get to the point where he can be trusted to be a starting quarterback.
He may be the most befuddling case of quarterback I've ever seen in my life.
We might be the last 2 guys to decide that he can't be a starting quarterback anymore.
I don't know, because I think there are a
you're
lot.
Still there?
Yes.
I don't know.
I think there are a lot. Here's the problem. A lot of people saw what we have been seeing for his entire career. And for people that weren't paying attention to Jameis and now are watching this kind of him attempting this revival, you're seeing what...
Everyone knows. Across the country, everyone has known who Jameis is. This isn't new to anybody.
The pick six machine, the throwing...
I heard about it when he was here.
But the guy can still throw for 500 yards, just shy of it yesterday.
But what do I always tell you about quarterbacks? And yes, he's a star in some ways. But when I say you're a team that either has a star quarterback, is looking for a star quarterback, we're talking about performance. And I don't know that anyone can ever say to themselves, listen, can he be somewhere where maybe he wins a starting job or something like that? Perhaps. Is anyone, I think, in my opinion, at this point, ever going to say, here's a contract, you're our guy, you are the franchise quarterback? I think we have gotten past that.
I think there are moments you watch that game, you're looking at this thing. It's not like Jameis throwing for 500 yards garbage time. They were in that game until the picks at the end. You're looking at this guy.
This is a story as old as time.
But you're watching him, and he has moments, and not just like a moment, which we see from guys all the time, like a consistent string of moments of looking spectacular. And then right at when we're like, oh, my God, of course this guy's a starter. Look at him. He's connecting on everything. Jerry Jeudy, who was ousted from Denver, was like, yeah, I just needed a guy like Jameis throwing me the football, and I'd be fine going off for 200 million yards last night. So you see the spectacular, and then you see the really bad. I mean, literally the game is – they're not in the game if it's not for Jameis. They lose the game because of Jameis. That's the story of his career.
And by the way, that's the thing. It's not just the pick sixes. It's when they came and when they have a lot of times come, right?
How does he do that?
It's a big moment, and some people rise to it and some people don't. There's one chance he has, Aaron, if he wants to be a starter again in the NFL. Like for someone to say, you're our guy. He needs help from the person he's asking help from. Unless he gets the help directly from the person he is asking help from, it ain't happening.
Let's hear who he's asking help from.
Just a second.
Oh, come on, dude.
Here it is.
Casey.
He was on vacation.
I am a better player, but in times like this, it's an opportunity to continue to glorify the Lord even through the toughest circumstances. I know I'm better than this. I know I'm just praying for the Lord to deliver me from pick sixes. That's not me. Like, a phenomenal game, offense, do some great things, but I messed it up.
It hurts, dude. It hurts.
I heard for him. I love him.
It's funny because he's just like he's Jameis. He wants to be delivered from the Lord from pick sixes, which is just an all-time statement.
Mr. Bobby, come on down here. Help me, Jesus. Help me, Jewish God.
I mean, really, it's like
when does Jameis diversify like that?
I mean, he's this year alone, he has become a preacher. He's always been a preacher, but now it's like next level. It's every time that mic is in front of him, he's talking to the congregation.
By the way, I love that Will Ferrell knows who Allah is, but he says Jewish God. He has no idea who your God is. He's like, Jewish God, whoever you are. Who does he have a different name? Because I don't know either. I'm with Will Ferrell. Did you just say Jewish God?
Yashem.
Okay.
Yashem, I think.
You think?
I think it's Yashem.
Emma, if you're listening, how disgusted are you right now
No,
that Aaron said, I think?
It's
Let's get Emma on the phone and ask her which is more disturbing, Aaron's love of pork products like bacon or his not quite being sure about Yashem.
Yeah, I'm not actually less sure now that I Google it.
Who?
Yashem? Yamish?
Well, listen, I don't know if it's
Winston.
Yashem, if it's Allah, if it's Jesus, if whoever it is, but one of those guys, one of them is going to have to help Jameis Winston if he wants to be a starter in this league. And I hate saying it, man. You know I love Jameis Winston. I would love nothing more. I may not want to be wrong about anything more in my life because I want someone to hand him that contract and go, you're the guy.
Man,
But I just don't know how the hell somebody does it, man.
The end of that statement is just so sad.
It hurts.
It hurts. I would pay him. You could get him for every time he throws a pick six. You're getting him for pennies on the dollar.
Oh well, yeah, of course you are.
One day though, 1 year, he's gonna put it all together. You know what it is?
I would love it, but I just at this point I don't know, man. I felt like this was his chance. This was an opportunity. You've got that weirdo Deshaun Watson on the sideline. This is your chance to take this franchise, to take this opportunity, to be a starting quarterback in the league again. And he's doing the same stuff, man. And I love him, but I just don't see it happening, man.
Yahweh. Thank you on the text line. Yahweh.
Oh, that's all right. I've heard of Yahweh.
I knew the Yahweh, but I think it's Yashem.
Well, who's Yashem then?
I gotta look up. I gotta go and do a little research.
Somebody's
now.
getting in the car and they're like, "What the hell's going on here?"
I've been doing all morning Rays stadium research and Jameis research, and now I'm on Yashem.
Wait, how much Jameis research did you have to do?
Not any. I'll find the audio.
Oh, finding the audio. All right. I thought you were saying like researching his numbers, like deep diving into whether or not he truly is the interception machine that apparently he absolutely is.
I don't need the numbers. It's an eye test. You watch the guy and you're like, spectacular. And then you're like, oh, Jameis, why are you Jameising? And he doesn't know why he Jameis.
I do want to get into the Rays situation before the break because I know what to make of Jameis Winston. I do not know what to make of this whole thing.
I told you what to make of it.
Well, good. I mean, I know what you make of it. I don't necessarily agree with you.
I mean, how could you not? We'll get into the details here in a couple minutes, but anybody that is thinking the Rays are just innocent in this is
I never said the Rays are innocent in this. I never said that.
It seems
right?
like
I'm putting most of the blame on the Pinellas County Commission because if they just did their jobs and voted for what they were supposed to vote for, what was supposed to be a formality, we're not here.
That's
we're not
a fair
here.
statement. That is a fair statement.
So, yes, I put most of it in their corner. I don't like the way the Rays are handling it. But you talked about it last week while I was out, that they had a letter that they needed to respond to where the county commission wanted to know, are you still in? And the Rays have responded without really responding.
They've been doing this the whole time.
And I don't like this at all.
This is what they do. They are very evasive and...
That's fair. That's all fair. And I've never said that they hold no fault. But I also think they're just ready to build their damn ballpark if Pinellas does what they're supposed to do and what they said they were going to do and what was supposed to be a formality. So the letter to the Rays was basically like, piss or get off the pot, right? Do you want the ballpark or not? Are you ready to stand by the ballpark or not? And here was the response from the Rays, and it's actually written by Matt Silverman himself, to Kathleen Peters, the county chairwoman. We are writing in response to your letter to Mr. Ald and myself dated November 25th, 2024. We disagree with the characterizations of the conversation between Commissioner Scott and Brian Ald. The conversation primarily concerned the near-term challenges to our business given the damage to Tropicana Field, as well as the dynamics related to the location of our home games in 2025. Brian Ald did not waver from our commitment to the new ballpark. And probably don't have time to read the whole thing right now.
We'll do it. I mean, we'll chop this up and we'll get into it again. I think we should do it at 6:30.
Without question. But the main part of it was basically Silverman saying the Rays would not have agreed and would have not have gone forward with the project if a future county commission had the ability to revoke the approval celebrated in July or unilaterally delay the project's completion into 2029. The commission voted to delay the bonds until after the November election, which altered the makeup of the board to be less friendly to a Rays deal.
Which to me is silly, but we'll break here in just a second here, but that is silly because we all talked about it. I told you, we talked about it here on the air. When we were all celebrating July, it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. We still have hurdles. We still have votes. This thing takes a long time. This is a process. So you're either lying to us or you are very naive if you're the Rays to think that this thing was just going to happen, boom, 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 after all the time it took just to get here. If you thought that it was just going to catapult you over the finish line like that, then you are very naive. And I know those guys are smart enough, and I can tell you that is not naivety. That is just
well, you know what?
over the eyes.
Maybe it's maybe it's them saying like we got to get this done. Because if you just sit back and go, oh, yeah, no problem, keep delaying it, we'll be here in 2030 wondering when the hell the ballpark's going to get built. Clearly, we've seen that from Pinellas. They're so short-sighted, they got rid of the damn insurance on the Trop, or enough of the insurance on the Trop. So here's how the letter ends. In response to your question regarding the status of the various agreements, they are in effect until a party terminates or outside dates are reached. The Rays have fulfilled its obligations to date and continue to wait for decisions and actions by the city of St. Petersburg and Pinellas County.
They're like they're like the guys and the girls at a high school, or I'd say a middle school dance. They're just both standing on the sidelines waiting for somebody to make the move. And
you guys just make out already?
Just make out.
Just make out already.
No, the teachers aren't watching. Just make out. The chaperones are gone.
Did you see Casey's face when we said make out already? He's
what?
He's like, what? I'll make out with somebody right now. Not us, you weirdo. All right, Aaron's right. We'll read the entire letter. I read the last one. You're reading this one, Aaron Jacobson. We're reading the entire letter for you at 6:30. We will talk, of course, some great Buccaneer football today. A lot going on the Pat and Aaron Show. But on the other side, it's time for today's top headlines with Casey Warner. That's coming up next on the Pat and Aaron Show. But first, want to remind you, if you're dealing with any kind of injury, if you're back is killing you, maybe your knee makes a weird noise when you get up in the morning, don't just deal with that injury. Go see our friends at Florida Orthopedic Institute, where you can get world-class orthopedic care thanks to Florida Orthopedic Institute and their connection with Tampa General Hospital.
Yeah, don't wait any longer. Access that world-class orthopedic care.
Time for today's top headlines, brought to you by Mark Spain Real Estate. Before we get to what Casey Warner has, Aaron and I were talking about something similar. What it was more like combined touchdown passes and interception touchdowns. But this is an interesting stat I found here on the X. And Jameis Winston threw for 497 yards last night. Also, the Broncos returned interceptions for 171 yards against Jameis. The 668 combined passing yards plus interception return yards off of his passes are the most by any quarterback in a single game in NFL history.
He had an all-time game.
Believe in Jameis.
Yes, 6 touchdown passes when you count the 4 and then the two pick sixes, which he's trying to be delivered from.
It's pretty amazing.
He had a game, man. That game, it was literally all Jameis and Bo Nix. Bo Nix, man. Bo Nix.
Man.
Who? Bo Nix.
Bo Nix?
Hold on. Bo Nix or Caleb Williams? You're starting a franchise right now.
Yeah, probably Caleb Williams.
Okay.
Just natural talent. And I don't really love the kid, but natural. By the way, he hasn't thrown an interception in like 1,000 years.
I bet you Casey Warner would say Bo Nix.
No. Let's wait for Situation Man for these kind of conversations.
Whoa.
All right, come on, man. Jeez.
I mean,
Preview.
You hadn't sent it to us yet. I didn't know.
Exactly. All right, well, you got to hold your horses.
All right. Yeah. Where did hold your horses come from?
Probably Kentucky.
Yeah, you're probably right. By the way, we're back on YouTube. We've got comments already this morning like, good morning, we can hear you. Also, so sound is back. It's about time, budget boys.
Yeah, as if that had something to do with it. We couldn't figure out the audio. That's on us. All right, so Florida, or old school. We were talking old school. I like Hold Your Horses. I'm watching this book. I'm reading this book.
Yeah.
A Land Remembered.
Uh-huh.
It's like a historic Florida book.
Oh.
And the oxen at the beginning of the book are named Buck and Tuck.
Whoa.
I'm guessing that's where everyone's coming up with the Buck and Tuck from A Land Remembered.
Probably.
You think so?
Yeah.
Is that a famous book? Is
Sure,
it?
everybody's
Yeah, I mean,
read that
I
book.
You know me,
yeah.
I don't read.
This is a like a book about Florida.
Huh, you're reading it.
I'm reading. I'm like
Interesting.
120 pages in. I'm hooked.
We just started Daryl Dixon finally.
That's not a book.
No, but like I said, I don't read. I read the
Daryl
internet
Dixon.
about sports. I read articles about sports, and like otherwise, I don't read for fun.
I tell you, I'm 120 pages in on a book, and you follow up with, I'm watching Daryl Dixon.
Yeah, we are.
Nice.
Have you seen it yet?
No.
Oh, all right.
Pat. I was talking to somebody about this yesterday, man. Like, The Walking Dead is that's 10 years old. Like, nobody's doing The Walking Dead.
Daryl Dixon is not.
I know the spin-offs and stuff. Is everyone really doing that?
I don't know what anybody else is doing.
I'm
I know
on
what
Yellowstone right now.
I'll tell you what, Dead City was very good.
I'm on Shrinking right now. Great show, Apple TV.
That's about,
Silo.
That's about crazy people, right?
No. Well, yeah, they're all crazy. You will love this show. It's Jason Segel, Harrison Ford, amazing.
All right. I'd
Amazing.
probably be into it.
What a top headline.
What's it on, Apple?
Apple.
All right. Today's top headlines brought to you by streaming shows on the internet.
And A Land Remembered.
Yeah. So definitely want to get to this, though. The numbers from last night's Monday Night Football game. Jameis Winston, 34 of 58, 497 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 picks. Bo Nix, 18 of 35, 294 yards, a touchdown and 2 picks. And then Jerry Jeudy, who is facing his former team, who I'll get to some comments here in a second. He had 9 catches for 235 yards and 1 touchdown, including a 70-yard touchdown. Jerry Jeudy had 40 fantasy points, and Jameis Winston had 40 as well.
Wow.
And I started Jeudy in one league, did not start Jameis in the other, and I paid for that. But here's what Jeudy said about having to play his former team and still not getting the W.
Time you caught the ball?
I heard it.
What, I mean,
That was a lot of boos, huh?
It sounded like it.
What that means? That was a lot of catches, too.
What were the emotions of facing your former team, being in that atmosphere? What was it like as a player, as a competitor?
You know, it was high emotions, but you you always, like I said before, you all wanna beat the team that you used to play for, But we came up short. Like I said, we gotta find a way to finish, find a way to win.
Jerry, I'm sure you would trade in all of those yards to walk away from here with the victory today.
Yeah, yes, I would. I would. They could have them, y'all. I need that W. I mean,
he needs that W.
So you said he got 40 points?
40 fantasy
exactly.
points.
That is insane.
Yep.
Our friend Ryan Lang, Aaron, who you remember, used to work with us right here at iHeart and works up at iHeart in Cleveland now.
We share the same musical tastes.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Big Fish guy.
He posted last night, I saw it on Facebook, me giving the Browns a pep talk, just with a meme, me giving the Browns a pep talk, but mostly Jerry Jeudy. So he goes off for 40 points and wins my fantasy football week.
That's huge.
He nailed it.
That's
exactly
huge.
40 points.
He was praying with Jameis.
He said, deliver me 40 fantasy football points.
Deliver.
Yeah, it's getting down to it. Fantasy football playoffs right around the corner, and
Oh,
6
boy.
of my leagues. I think I'm gonna make. Yeah, I'm gonna make it in like three or
What
four.
is
So that's not bad,
I mean, how are you keeping up with 6?
it's like a rotation. I have to take time out of my day to go down each team. And,
How many days a week do you do that?
What do you mean?
You said you have to take time out of your day.
It's a daily thing.
Every day.
It's serious.
Wow, all
I'm
right.
putting money in for this. It's no different than gambling.
Yeah.
You're better
It is
off
gambling. Yeah. Hit a nice little parlay at the airport.
You got an airport lay?
Yeah,
You got laid at the airport.
on the draft on the DraftKings app, because DraftKings, it's fully legal in Kentucky, so I use DraftKings and
Did you
made $100 real quick.
Did you withdraw the money before you left?
Of course I did.
You're no rookie.
Oh, I'm no rook.
That is today's top headlines, brought to you by Mark Spain Real Estate. Get a guaranteed offer on your home today, and then just start packing.
Jerome Bettis, the bus, will join the show this week.
That's right.
Maybe
I'm
tomorrow.
looking forward to talking to. I think tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow sounds like a good day to talk to Jerome Bettis. By the way, it's always a good day to make the most out of Christmas, and if you want to make this the most unforgettable Christmas, you got to go see our friends at International Diamond Center. They're your destination for that home run gift. Their showcases right now, they are fully stocked with all the classics as well as the latest one-of-a-kind fashion jewelry from world-class designers. Unique, handcrafted items you're not going to find anywhere else. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, you name it. Bands, watches, they have it all. Plus, they've got precious gemstones, Italian gold. Like we said, absolutely everything you're looking for, they're going to have it. All the stuff that the women in your life really love.
And everyone relax, because you've got International Diamond Center's non-commission experts. These are not salespeople. These are people that are
Pat and Aaron Show, 95.3 WDAE and AM 620. We're going Kung Fu style today if you want to watch on the live stream on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, X, everywhere we are.
That was the weirdest thing you've ever done on the radio, what you're doing right now.
What do you mean? I'm going Kung Fu style.
Only people that are watching can see you're just not talking, you're just moving your lips really fast.
Yeah, that's okay, though. People on the people who are listening on the radio have no idea. I'm just taking dramatic pauses. The Rays took a dramatic pause to write their response, or sort of response, to the Pinellas County Commissioners who said, hey, you still in on this ballpark thing? And Aaron detailed the letter from the county very well last week while I was out, but now he is going to read you the entirety of the Rays' response and how vague it is, where they're like, yeah, this is your fault, but they don't really say, like, yes, we're still in, which is what we all really want to hear from the Rays.
Yeah, well, listen, the letter, let's start with this. The letter, it focuses on the counties, what the county is putting out there.
Yeah.
And they're disagreeing with what I want to say is, I want to start with this. There was a statement made in that Kathleen Peters letter that detailed a conversation between County Commissioner Brian Scott and Brian Auld, who we know is the Rays team president. And Scott said that Auld had told him before the October 29th meeting that Auld was doing everything he could do to hold this deal together because the Rays' revenue is down, construction costs may rise, all that stuff. Now, Matt Silverman came out and said Brian Auld did not waver from our commitment to the new ballpark project. That is in question right now, is how committed the Rays are to this thing. So this is a back and forth here, but the response to the letter where we left off is, we're going to start with this. In regard to, it is worth correcting certain inaccurate comments made by, and once again, this is from Matt Silverman and the Rays, inaccurate comments made by Commissioner Latvala that our decision to play at Steinbrenner Field is inconsistent with the spirit of our new ballpark agreements. The new non-relocation agreement states that in the event of a force majeure that requires a temporary location, the team must use commercially reasonable, diligent, and good faith efforts to cause an alternate site at team home games and play pursuant to Section 2.2 to be located in Pinellas County, Florida, in the first instance. And I want to stop there. This portion of it is the one portion where I do agree with the Rays, and I think Latvala and the county commission are being absurd when it comes to where they're going to play the baseball next year and potentially in 2026, now that we know that the Trop isn't going to be repaired right now.
Yeah.
That's an insane thing and a selfish move, political move by Latvala to say, you didn't research hard enough in Pinellas County. Shut up. Stop it. They're playing in Tampa Bay. They're playing right across the bridge at George Steinbrenner Field.
I think the argument that what pisses me off the most is that the argument that he made, Latvala and others on the commission, was so stupid to be like, well, if the Rays play in Tampa in 2025, we don't get any of the bed tax from that. So you're willing to give up the bed tax on Rays baseball forever?
For decades.
That's the other, that's the alternative, is to never get it again.
So this is where I do agree with the Rays. Now this is where the Rays and everything starts to get a little sketchy for me with the Rays' involvement in it. I'm going to continue with the letter here from the Rays. When it comes to honoring the spirit of the new ballpark agreements, it is Pinellas County, not the Rays, that falls short.
I agree with that.
At the November 19th meeting, Mr. Crowell indicated that when the Pinellas County Commission met in late October, he expected a simple up or down vote on the supplemental bond resolution and did not expect any type of delay. The item had been reviewed without debate at a workshop 5 days earlier. It was supposed to be a simple administrative action. While as a technical matter under the agreements, there are no longer outside dates for a variety of conditions to be satisfied, the Rays have always made it clear that the viability of the project depended on having certainty about the project's approval and funding prior to 2024. This is where I think
to the 2024 elections. Just to be
sorry,
fair,
to the 2024 November elections. Yes, sorry about that. This is where I can see and they make a good, valid legal point. I see where the Rays are coming from, and not even just a legal point, just like a general observation of we thought this thing was going to get done. But
because that's what they were told, and they had a press conference and a celebration and all kinds of nonsense that they were all involved in.
Then you're very naive because Matt Silverman, Brian Auld, obviously Stu, they've been around here for a very long time. They've seen how this stadium conversation has gone. So if they think after a decade of back and forth, Hillsborough County and Pinellas County, they think
I think that's unfair because the Pinellas County, the city, they were all there for that celebration. And to say that, yeah, we're going to get up there and celebrate here to stay like it's a done deal and then pull back and pull the rug out from under you is completely unfair that they should have expected that.
I want to go back. Do we have clips from that day? Can we shame? They look like everyone that was there that day at the Trop. You look like an idiot. You look stupid, including myself. And I knew it. I knew when I was there. I was like, what are we celebrating? The whole thing was ridiculous. Now that you look back and you look at what took place, it's embarrassing that we sat there at the Trop.
It's annoying.
It's embarrassing. We sat at the Trop. You invited us all in. Come on in. You handed us baseballs. We should have known it was a sham.
Do you remember what my question was that day? Why? Why right now? Why was this important to happen right now? And boy, looking back, it sure as hell shouldn't have.
I mean, we should all feel stupid for celebrating multiple times, but that one especially, where we all were paraded into the Trop as if this thing was a done deal. We listened to speeches all day. Oh, we got him. We finally got him. We told you we were going to do it. You look like idiots. And I'm talking about the commission.
The people who voted for it don't.
I'm talking about the commission and the city council. You look like idiots.
Not the people who voted for it.
No, you look like idiots too because you celebrated something that wasn't done and you didn't have the votes, you didn't have the people. So you might have wanted it, but you didn't have the people.
Yeah, what an idiot.
And yeah,
I mean, just stupid.
You look dumb now. And it's embarrassing that I was there that day. Now that I think about it.
That's silly.
No, now that I think about it, it is embarrassing. We went and we celebrated something that was never going to happen. Like, in all actuality.
You felt like it was never going to happen.
No, but
day.
we all know.
No.
No. I've been telling you every time we're shovels in the dirt, every time we're celebrating, it's like, well, we still got a lot. I've been the whole time. We still got a long way to go. There's still hurdles to go. I don't know. So, yeah, now that we look back, I feel stupid that we celebrated that.
I don't feel stupid at all.
You'll celebrate anything, dude.
You're damn right. I went to you know what I did? I went to celebrate and support a partner who I thought was getting a new ballpark because they deserve a new ballpark, and we all deserve a new ballpark. And I had politicians tell me it was done, and now I got politicians telling me it's not done. And I listen, I've said it before. Am I completely unbiased? I'm not. I'm a big fat sports ogre, and I just want my baseball, and that's not going to change. But at the end of the day, yeah, I damn well blame the people that said they were going to vote for it that are now backing off of it a lot more than I blame the Rays.
And in that case, when I look back and I feel dumb, it's more the commission and the council and what their words were more so than the Rays. The Rays were in; they wanted to get done, and the spread was fantastic.
Aaron,
as always with them.
Sorry, some people are going to get to the point where it's time to retire, and they're going to look back at their finances and feel dumb.
They will, but not if you reach out to Trajan Wealth. They're going to help you here. They're going to help you reach your investment goals, and they're going to tailor the goals to your specific needs. And what they're going to do is at Trajan Wealth, they're going to work closely with you. They want your path to retirement to be an easy and a comfortable one. Easy and comfortable. Are you listening, Pinellas County? Easy and comfortable. That's what we want in life, everything. And that's what you're going to get when you talk to Trajan Wealth about your future. How long is your money going to last? Will you have enough money when you retire? You do not have to worry because Trajan Wealth, they'll help you. 813-550-1000. It starts with that initial free consultation. So give them a call today, 813-550-1000, as they can help you develop a plan that gives you peace of mind. Check them out online as well, TrajanWealth.com. These are the type of people you would want to work with, and they would love to talk with you about your financial goals today. TrajanWealth.com. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC and SEC Registered Investment Advisor. Paid advertising.
Want to feel dumber?
I always do.
On the Bar 204-DA text line, and you were all front and center in the celebratory picture.
I knew it. I knew that picture was going to... Can we find that picture?
I've still never seen the actual photo.
We did sneak up there.
I got to get blacked out of that thing. Or whited out, whatever it is. How do you get me out of that thing? I don't know what you can do to just make me disappear from that picture.
We don't know if we're going to have good news for Rays fans, but we got good news for Bucks fans coming up next.
You made me shimmy up to the front.
WDAE.
Traffic up.
One of you texted in asking for the release, the waiving of one Trenton Gill after just an atrocious game. And listen, I don't get to watch every snap of every NFL football game. I'm sure he's not the only one. He's the first kicker I saw get the penalty for not reaching the landing zone on the new kickoff rules. I forgot all about the landing zone. When they blew that play dead, I was like, what the hell is going on here? But not reaching the landing zone, just one of the just terrible plays from Trenton Gill on Sunday for the Buccaneers, and he has been waived.
He's been one of the NFL's worst punters. He's been punting for an average of 43.3 yards per punt, a net average of 38.9.
He's bad.
So they're on to their third punter of the season. It makes you think whatever was going on with Jay Camarda was really bad. And by the way, there's still mystery surrounding that for me, because this guy was at times years ago
awesome.
Amazing. I mean, player of the week he was the player that
many 2 years ago. It's not like he's an old guy.
The end of Brady, we would come in and we had Tom Brady at quarter behind center, and we would have how many days would we come in after a Bucs game and go, well, Jay Camarda was the best guy on the field. That happened multiple times. So
that's because Brady had given up.
But how did Camarda give up? Where is his leg? What happened to him?
I don't know. Because
it wasn't good for him either.
I don't want to compare it to Justin Tucker because he's an all-time great, but Camarda was really good a couple years ago and fell off a little bit last year. We saw some poor punts last year, but really bad to start this year. But I never really understood the Trenton Gill thing. To me, they should have rode with Camarda and tried to figure it out. To me, switching punters, unless there's a veteran on the street that you just know is going to be good, I wouldn't mess around with it a lot. I think, to me, it's almost as bad as a kicker being bad. Like missing field goals, obviously taking points off the board is pretty bad. It's worse than not being a good punter. But giving up great field position because you can't punt the ball at all is pretty much putting points on the board for your opponent.
They may hold tryouts for this thing. They got Jack Browning on the practice squad. They may hold tryouts for this thing. Should we get Jeff Attinella, former goalie, who can kick the ball up, just boot? I mean, think about how many times you had to pick that ball up and just boot it.
I was actually going to say, let's get Beckles on the phone and tell him, listen, Royals, let's go. I've seen Mark Royals recently over at Beckles' place.
Big guy.
Still looks fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think he looks good.
I don't know why I said fine. Like, yeah, he still looks like a dude.
He looks good.
No, yeah, he still looks like Mark Royals. I don't think he's lost anything. Let's stick him out there.
How's your leg doing?
Mark Royals, the best punter in the history. Dude, come on.
I just wanted to hear you say that.
Terrible. You've seen when we've done the kicking thing at
punt pass. No, it wasn't.
At the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Now punt pass kick is for the kids, Aaron.
Yeah, I'm
just
a
for
kid.
the kids.
It's for Andy Reid.
Kid at heart.
See the video of Andy Reid doing that back in the day?
Dude, Andy Reid is the funniest. Like, remember what was he saying with the Nuggets? Give me your Nuggies. Remember the Nuggies commercial?
The commercial, yeah.
And then the new one. What is it? Bundle-rooski.
Bundle-rooski.
Yes, I love goofy Andy Reid. That commercial was on the other day, and I was like, Heidi, that's like the best football coach right now.
But 13-year-old Andy Reid punt, pass, and kick competition is
he looks like he was
in
30.
the L.A. Rams uniform. Let's go.
Like he's in full. He looks like he's literally a grown man next to children.
Who's 200 pounds?
He's also massive. You've got little kids next to him. It's the funniest visual ever.
They were the same age as him. That's the only thing. They were the same age as him.
It's like when you go to a Little League game and you see, like, you're watching on TV, you're like, there's no way that kid is 12 years old. There's no way. That kid is 14. That kid is Danny Almonte. That was Andy Reid back at Pump Pass Kick. He was Danny Almonte.
He looked like an offensive lineman at 13 years old, and I'm talking about an NFL offensive lineman. Speaking of NFL offensive lineman, we were talking about just how good the Buccaneers offensive line is. Do we not have that, Casey Warner? I see you.
Yeah, I don't think it's labeled correctly.
All right.
Fumble-rooski.
Fumble-rooski. What I wanted, and I thought we could get to this as we go into the show a little bit, was a quote from Bucky Irving yesterday. If you have to go into the full and grab it, I know it's towards the end of his comments. You can probably find it pretty quickly. Just let me know if you grab that because we got a few minutes here. He was talking about his performance. Obviously, he spoke to the media yesterday, and he had a monster game on Sunday, and a big part of the reason why the Bucs were able to come up with that victory. And he was talking about he's such a team player. I don't know if you got to hear any of the post-game audio that we don't have from the locker room with TJ Reeves, but we go live to the locker room with TJ after the game on 98 Rock every game. And he was talking to Rachaad White about the big 40-yard run that sealed the game, basically. And Bucky Irving's in the background yelling about Rachaad White being the guy and sealing the game. And my dude, Rachaad, like, he was just he talked so much about that room and how they're brothers and how, like, they love watching the other one perform. And he's like, I know I can't be out there every time. And he sounds like such a good teammate. And he was talking about the offensive line and how well they're playing. And he basically said he needs to get them something nice for Christmas. And then I started thinking, like, Bucky Irving is a rookie, 4th-round draft pick at that. Like, he doesn't have a ton of money. All right, here's what he said about his offensive line.
I mean, I don't really like taking all the credit. It's them guys up front. I think I got to do something real nice for them guys for Christmas, dog, because they're getting the job done. I really don't want to take all the credit. Like I said, we got to get more of them guys ahead and get them the credit for getting the job done up front.
So given that he's a rookie on a 4th-round draft pick rookie, not making a ton of money, like, what should he get them for Christmas?
I think it's more of like Baker Mayfield needs to hear that and go, you know what? This kid's a rookie. I just got a big contract. He's playing his ass off. And you know what? This season is probably dead if it's not for Bucky.
Is this like when your mom takes you shopping to buy your dad a present for, I guess, Hanukkah for you guys, right? Like your mom, it says from Aaron on the gift, but really your mom bought it.
What am I, 10?
I
don't get my own dad gift.
I don't mean right now. I mean when you're a kid. I mean when you're a child and your parent does that for you. Is that what this is? Baker takes Bucky out shopping?
Yes.
He pays for it, but they say it's from Bucky?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like Bucky's like, thank you so much, Baker. Thank you. Like, I want to look good. These guys have been making me look good. I think the Bucky thing, maybe because I am who I am. It's easy. The pumping up your offensive line, that's one thing. Pumping up Rachaad White, I mean, you just went out for 150. Like, it's an easy thing to be like, that's the guy. No. You know you're the guy. He knows he's the guy. When you're saying that, it's like, it sounds nice. How much of that is like, you know, if he didn't have that great game, obviously
you're always the skeptic. But you're always the skeptic. You're always
I always go back to the kid that picked up garbage at the combine.
Yeah, what a great guy.
No,
it wasn't the garbage guy. It was, you know who it was? I can't remember which quarterback it was, but there was a quarterback. He got a bunch of clothes at the combine, and he was like giving them to a homeless woman.
Was it Michael Penix?
Somebody, I don't know if it was.
No,
I think it was earlier than that. It was a couple years before that. It was one of the rookie quarterbacks, and he was giving a bunch of his clothes to a homeless woman, and somebody videotaped it, and you were like, "That's not real. That's not real."
No, it's just he knew that the video was happening.
How do you know that?
I had a feeling. It was Malik Willis.
It was Malik Willis.
And look, he needed all the good press he could get. And look what happened.
He played well when he had to step in this year.
Sure he did.
Wow.
He's Malik Willis, man.
Pretty rude.
Do you think Malik Willis has a strong future in the NFL?
Listen, man. Same thing you would have said about other guys.
Like
before.
Who? That went on to have a strong career. Like Geno Smith, who's not having like he's having an okay
got paid.
Career. He did.
He got paid. All right, listen, before we get to the break, I want to talk to you about our friend John Howard. Just like a lot of you, our friend John Howard dealt with the hurricane. It was Hurricane Helene for him that put feet of water in his home and left him having to rebuild. And I know a lot of you either have to rebuild your homes or, God forbid, have to start from scratch and truly rebuild your home. Regardless of if you need a renovation loan or if you need a construction loan, you definitely want to talk to our friend John Howard. Like I said, he's going through the same thing you are, so he understands exactly what you're going through, and he knows all the rules so he can help you the most. And right now, they also have loan products at HowardTeamHomeLoans.com that can work with your insurance payouts to get the home back and even better than it was before the storm. If you were a renter who was displaced because of the storms, you could be eligible if you're deciding to buy. You could be eligible for a 0% down payment option. And don't forget, that option is always there when it comes to VA loans, which is John Howard's strength. So if you're thinking about using that VA loan, believe me, John Howard's the guy to go with. Also, a lot of you, maybe you weren't damaged in the storm, but you were still having trouble with finances because of all of the inflation and things that are going on. Well, if you're a homeowner and you're thinking about doing a cash out refinance, once again, there's only one answer. It's our friend John Howard. HowardTeamHomeLoans.com is the website. If you're driving, just pull over, write it down. HowardTeamHomeLoans.com. John Howard, he's a Tampa guy. He's been through what you're going through, and he is the guy that can help. Believe me in that. All right, when we return, we've got a loaded 7 o'clock hour coming up. We've got more on whatever the hell is going on with the Rays in St. Pete. We'll tell you how you could get a job working for a former Buccaneers head coach, Situation Man, and why Bucky Irving is kind of a freak of nature. It's all coming up on the Pat and Aaron Show.
Tampa Bay Sports Radio 95.
Catapult their way to the top of this division. but the Rays Stadium saga, we've got to get to it. We were awaiting the Rays' response to Kathleen Peters and the Pinellas County Commission's letter to them, essentially laying down an ultimatum saying we want in writing what your intentions are. And they got it. Yesterday we saw the full breakdown. And
do you feel like there are intentions within this letter?
What do you mean by that?
Like you said, they want to know what the Rays' intentions are. Do you feel like their intentions are in this letter?
No, the Rays were once again extremely vague in this response.
And anybody listening who's paid any kind of attention to this conversation knows I am much more on the Rays side than I am on the St. Pete or Pinellas County side. But that said, this letter said nothing at all.
They write this letter, and really it's not until the end where you get, if you want to say a little clarity, it's not clarity, but it's the most you're going to get. The end of it is, in response to your question regarding the status of the various agreements, they are in effect until a party terminates or outside dates are reached. The Rays have fulfilled its obligations to date and continue to wait for decisions and actions by the city of St. Petersburg and Pinellas County.
I agree with that.
This is all part of a legal battle, though, that they're all looking at for the future and saying, how can we protect our tuchuses? And that's why Pinellas County is saying, you're not being clear. We need clarity from you. We need it in writing. The Rays are saying, we're telling you right now, it's on you. We have fulfilled our obligations. It is in effect until a party terminates. And basically they're saying, you terminate.
Yeah,
so
I don't blame them.
The Pinellas County is saying it's on you. Once again, the Rays are saying it's on you. It goes back to what I was saying last week, that there's just a bunch of finger pointing and nobody wants, it's a hot potato. And nobody wants that hot potato in their hand. Nobody wants to make the decision because no one's an adult in the room.
I'll make the potato.
You'll eat the potato.
I'll eat the potato too. Yeah, I'm not making it for no reason. All right? I'll eat it.
Potato. It's gonna be sour cream. There's gonna be cheese. There's gonna be chives. Don't give it.
I do like chives.
I know you do. All right. Nobody wants the bag, so nobody wants to make the decision. Where is the adult in this situation? Because if you think that they're just gonna, cooler heads are gonna prevail, and they're gonna be all chummy at the end of the road here, and they're gonna figure it out. And this
by the way, it's happened. It has happened. It has happened a lot in these kind of situations where it's button heads. I hate you. You suck. You're lying. No, you're lying. Oh, hey, we got this thing done, and everybody loves each other again.
I don't think
it happens.
And that's why I don't think it's completely dead. But the more and more they start slinging back and forth at each other publicly, and you have things that are being said by Kathleen Peters about private discussions that are happening from Brian Auld with people on the council, and then you have Brian Auld coming out and Matt Silverman coming out and saying that's not how it went down. So it's a this he said she said type of thing, and it's messy. It is extremely messy. So when we thought we might get a little clarity by the time we came into work yesterday, now today we have no clarity. It's the same situation except on the other shoe now. It's now the ball's in. We thought the ball was in the Rays court. It was. Now the ball is in Pinellas County Commission's court.
Yeah, and listen, maybe they want to get off their asses and get the job done. And I'm like, I'll be honest with you, I'm at the point where I'm tired of hearing about the Hurricanes because, let's be honest, it doesn't really matter. They're gonna.
What do you mean? Because it does matter.
They were going to do what they were going to do regardless of the Hurricanes. The people that voted against it were going to vote against it regardless of the Hurricanes. Let me ask you this. You think they're having a bunch of meetings? You think the Pinellas County Commission is having a bunch of meetings about how to cut government waste? About how to stop blowing money on a ton of stuff you know they're blowing money on?
No.
They're not doing that.
Not effective ones, at least.
But so, but we might hold up on the ballpark. Hold up on the ball. Forget about all the other money we're blowing on nonsense. And I don't care. You find me a government body on the face of this planet. They're blowing money on nonsense.
I don't disagree with you that it could have happened anyway. But because they're two major hurricanes, we've had one of the worst hurricane seasons ever. And for us, a lot of our lifetimes here, we'll never know because they did happen.
Yeah.
And
everything they are going to do moving forward was already a plan before outside of the ballpark. Everything they plan on doing moving forward, any kind of, renovations to downtown or whatever, any kind of rebuild, anything they're going to do, they had already planned on doing. Not like nobody's changing government spending in any other category, in any other way, because of the Hurricanes.
I told Ken Hagan when he was here, and he joined the show, and I mean this, and I know Ken listens, and I might just text him this every day. Every day I might send one text to Ken Hagan.
Yeah.
Go get them. Go take them. Because Pinellas and St. Pete, they don't want them. They are struggling here. They had that stupid celebration that all the, you had the you had commission members, you had council members going up there and just looking back, looking like idiots. And
by the way, those idiots will be the first people standing up and screaming if Tampa gets it done.
They're not allowed. Well, oh yeah. They're not. I don't take those people seriously at all. I never should. The people that cried stadium. That's never going to happen. You need to take it. It is there for the taking. Rob Manfred, the commissioner of Major League Baseball, says he wants it here in Tampa Bay. So we all know it's going to work better in Tampa. The Rays don't want that stadium in St. Pete. They do not. They want the money off the redevelopment because it's going to be a lot of money for the future for Stu Sternberg to make.
You get back to is how? How?
Listen, I don't know. How do these things get done? Ken Hagan, that's why you're the Hillsborough County Commissioner. Figure it out. Figure it out and take them. I'm going to send him a text right now. Take them. Where's my phone?
What if he's not awake yet?
Doesn't matter.
He's a goon. He's awake.
He's up. But
I'm surprised he hasn't
understand.
texted us by now. He must be driving somewhere.
What should my text? I'm going to send them the same text every day. What should it be? I'm going to leave it up to the goons.
Take the Rays.
What? I'm going to leave it up to the goons.
Simple. Take the Rays.
I want it more than that in case he's not up. 82945. Start your text with DA. What should I send?
He won't know what that means. He'll be like, what does he mean by this?
Should I just send, if you build it, they will come?
No. Take the Rays.
Just every day, take the Rays.
Yeah.
All right.
And listen, I love Ken Hagan, Hillsborough, anybody on this side, Jeff Finnick and his new partners over there, Lip Schultz and what's the other one? I forget the other guy's name off the top of my head. Those two billionaires, go bring them in. Let's invest. Get them to Tampa. It sounds great, but you know what? I don't believe it happens. I believe it stays in St. Pete. Somehow, some way, I think it ends up in St. Pete. There's a lot of posturing going on, and that's what people do. That's how these situations always happen. But I think it ends up getting done. But I don't, you know what? I don't blame the Rays for holding them to the fire and saying, what the hell are you waiting for? Because guess what? We've been waiting forever, and they said it was done.
I just texted Ken, take the Rays. He's getting that text every morning. I'm setting an alarm at 7 o'clock every morning, and he's going to get one saying, let's do a repeat every day. Not on weekends. I'll let him rest on weekends. Ken Hagan, go get the Rays.
On the Bartow Ford DAE text line, the county has done a pretty good job at villainizing the Rays because they didn't violate the agreement. That's true. They did not violate the agreement.
If I had to say who am I blaming more, it's without a doubt the Pinellas County Commission. Without a doubt.
I would say from this side of the table, and I would wonder what listeners think, it doesn't sound like that.
Well, that's fine. I'm doing it from both sides. We all know the Pinellas County Commission is full of what looks like people that just can't get out of their own way.
Yeah.
They're torching this thing. But
can't get out of anybody's way because they're in all of our way.
But it's also not fair to say that the Rays are completely blameless. I put blame on both of them. Right now, if I had to put more blame on one or the other over the other, it would be the Pinellas County Commission. But to me, the Rays it doesn't feel like they want this stadium to get done in St. Pete. That's just the way it feels. We'll continue the conversation on the other side. I think it's an interesting one. 888-546-4620. We'll take your calls.
Do you think Ken Hagan would be happy with that compliment?
Absolutely not. I'm not reading it. 888-546-4620, 82945. Start your text with DAE. We'll take your calls on that because it is very interesting, this continued saga here with the Rays Stadium. Also, you looking for a job? Well, we've got a job that just opened up in Tampa, not here at DAE, but it is something that you will be very interested in. It involves a former Tampa Bay Buccaneers coach. We'll get into that coming up next.
WDAE
traffic update
from the Safe Touch Secure. 620.
We're going to pivot here a little bit. We're going to get back into the Rays, but I think everyone's a little based on I'm just kind of reading the room. I got a good finger on the pulse sometimes.
Are you not tired of it?
I am, and I think we both know like where we stand on it. Michael on the chat on YouTube, you can watch this on YouTube, WDAE, search it. He said the topic has been going on for years. It's boring now, and I get that sentiment. I really do. I blame both sides. I blame the Pinellas County Commission more. If you want to talk about it, we will get into it. We do see some of the text, but, you know, I've made it pretty clear on why I think the Rays are to blame for a bit because they've been evasive. They haven't been very clear. They didn't want the Trop. The Trop was going to get repaired. It was voted in favor for, and then Brian Auld came out and said, well, you shouldn't do that. I'm skeptical. Why? I'm always a skeptic, but why is my question that I continue to go back to.
We got a text on the Bartow Ford DAE text line earlier saying if they could get anything for their 60th birthday, which hopefully it's today, happy birthday if it is, it would be no more stadium talk ever. I wish we could be in that situation where we would never have to talk about the stadium again. But unfortunately, this thing's not going to end anytime soon, and we're probably going to be having a similar annoying conversation about the Buccaneers before we know it.
Yesterday, an annoying day for Jameis Winston as they fell in what was turned into an incredible Monday Night Football game as the Denver Broncos beat the Cleveland Browns 41-32.
Defensive battle right there.
I mean, listen, Denver's defense is good, and at home for Jameis Winston at times to look like a superstar was impressive. And then at other times, he was Jameis Winston. He threw for 497 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. You can say 6 touchdowns if you count the 2 interceptions that were returned for a touchdown. He threw combined with the interception yardage. He threw for like 1,000 yards. It was
688 return yards and passing yards, which is the most combined between those two statistics in the history of the NFL, which is good and bad.
Believe in Jameis!
I felt so bad for Jameis because it was so exhilarating watching him. He's so exciting at times, and then he makes you want to rip your hair out. I mean, if you're a Browns fan, and we know watching him here with the Buccaneers, I mean, it is so frustrating when you see so much good from him, and then you see so much bad. And Jameis is frustrated too, but he's been so positive, especially since he's always been a positive guy. But since everything's gone downhill for him as a starter, since he was in New Orleans, since he was in, what he's been doing in Cleveland, he's been such a raw guy.
Even when he breaks his leg, he's in the locker room dancing on crutches.
It was deflating to hear Jameis after the game yesterday.
I am a better player, but in times like this, it's an opportunity to continue to glorify the Lord even through the toughest circumstances. I know I'm better than this. I know I'm just praying for the Lord to deliver me from pick sixes. That's not me. Like a phenomenal game, offense, do some great things, but I messed it up.
I messed it up, man. He's praying to be delivered from pick sixes.
Help me, Jesus! Help me, Jewish God!
Help me, Jewish God.
I can't, I just imagine Jameis waking up, or not even waking up, going to bed and just getting on a couple knees and praying and saying to himself.
Do you think he actually does?
Yes.
Do you think he actually prays for less interceptions?
Yes. Among many other things, help to his family and friends.
My dad, Antonor, my mom. No interceptions, my kids.
He's like, and please stop having me throw pick sixes. Please. But it's not being answered because he's throwing a lot of pick sixes. And he just has, this is Jameis. This is Jameis.
I love him so much.
And I want him to be a starter in this league. And I know other GMs are looking at it, watching that game, watching the season, and be like, oh, he's still got some of that Jameis in him. But you could say for both sides, he's got the Jameis in him. And I don't think he can escape the Jameis.
Just an hour ago, we were having this conversation. You were like, you still think he can overcome it?
No. He can be a starter in this league. But when it comes,
you can't.
Yes,
you can't make someone a starter if you can't rely on them to not throw interceptions.
It's a matter of you just need him to it all to come together.
It's been 10 years. It's not happening, dude.
If a quarterback got hurt, and that was a good team, and Jameis came in there, I feel like if he had a short window, like that, like a Nick Foles.
That's not what you're talking about.
I know.
When you say a guy is a starter, that means you hand that man a contract and say, this is your team this season. Is anybody ever going to do that to Jameis Winston again?
I think so.
No.
Can you
No.
see? You think last night was the game that did that?
I think this season, he's got a lot of opportunities this year to show he can be the guy, and he's still the same guy, dude. I love him. He can't stop throwing interceptions.
He's just not. He's not a backup. He's not a starter. He's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
He might be the first quarterback ever to be somewhere in the middle.
No, he's like a great backup quarterback. That's what he is. He's a great backup
but
quarterback.
you know what? You might be
can't
right.
rely on him to be a starter. I love him. You can't.
Because Jameis is a guy that you could look at as, I could look at a Nick Foles type of, okay, we need him at the end of the season because a guy got hurt. He's our backup. He comes in and just turns it on for a run, and we win a Super Bowl.
Oh,
Like,
he could
I
definitely
see
Jeff
that.
Hostetler the bleep out of this thing. No doubt about it. But he's not a guy that anybody, in my opinion, will hand a contract to and say, going into the season, you're the guy. This is your franchise.
No. I do not see that at all. But the Bucs didn't do that with Baker, right?
But I don't see him. And by the way, wink, wink, nod, nod. They kind of did, right?
No,
But-
I could see
but
that similar situation.
I can't.
I could see Jameis going into a situation where they're like, we're going to give you $1 million or $2 million, and you're gonna have a real good chance to compete for the starting job.
I don't think a team is going to want to. We want to talk to Donnie Christmas real quick.
In a second, you can if you think about it. All right, we don't. Donnie Christmas, we'll get you on the other side. You could do what you did with Baker. You could get Jameis on the cheap and build the team around him and let him compete.
It's not what teams do, man. You have a star quarterback, or
The
you're
Bucs did
looking
it.
for a star quarterback.
With Baker was not. We act like Baker was we knew he was going to be. Or
Dude,
it was the same
Baker
situation.
It's not.
But
It's
Jameis
not.
threw
He
for
has
more
not
interceptions,
He has
but-
not had the interceptions Jameis has for the longevity of the time that Jameis has, and he had recent success. It wasn't a lot, but what he did in Los Angeles, people went, "Oh, okay, wait a second, there might be something there." Jameis has been this guy forever. It's too late, dude.
I'm calling Antonor.
What, to tell him that I said it's too late?
That I want to talk. Yeah, I want to be like, what do you think, Antonor?
You know what Antonor thinks.
What do you think?
It's his father. What do you want him to think?
I want you to tell Antonor that you think
So
Jameis
unfair.
is done. He's
I didn't
done.
say he's done. I don't think anybody's going to give him a chance to be a starting quarterback in this league.
Do you
again.
think he should be a starter in this league?
No.
I want you to tell Antonor.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
You are a liar.
And I want to tell
You are a
Antonor.
liar.
I do want. I'm not. I am not. And I'll tell you, this isn't a lie. I got a Mazda 3, 2020. It's a
That's true.
beautiful new Mazda 3. And I'm enjoying it a lot. And we went over there yesterday and hung out with them for a little bit, said hello to our friends in Mazda of Clearwater Pack because we love them.
We do. And you're going to love them when you go there as well because they have a beautiful brand new showroom, and that's not really why you love them. They have a new state-of-the-art service center that gets your vehicle repaired if it needs it, or an oil change done way faster than they would have before anywhere else that they can do it right now because of their state-of-the-art service center. Everything you get, everything you see at Mazda of Clearwater is as good as you're going to get it. But really, it's the car buying experience that will really blow you away. That and a Mazda. If you haven't been inside of a Mazda, I hadn't before I bought my Mazda 3. I was blown away by my Mazda 3. And really, the longer I own it, the more I love it. And I'm telling you, that's how you'll feel as well. But what will really blow you away is the car buying experience, the people. They are better at Mazda than you're going to find anywhere else. It will be the best car buying experience of your life. Check them out in person right on US 19, just south of East Bay Drive, or go online to MazdaofClearwater.com.
Situation Men coming up in a little bit. It's not next, but when we get there, Casey, I want you to just take Jameis Winston and then just start rallying off quarterbacks, and we'll do the situations that you sent plus a situation, Men, of like Jameis or somebody just texted in Jameis or Daniel Jones.
That's
It's
easy.
easy. It's Jameis. Daniel Jones is the worst. It's Jameis. All right, we're going to do that. Plus, on the other side, an opportunity for you. I just mentioned a little earlier. We're going to get into it. A job opportunity in Tampa. If you want to take it, we're going to tell you the details next.
Tampa Bay Sports Radio 95.
in sports media. Well, now is your chance. If you haven't heard what John Gruden is up to lately, he's working for Barstool Sports, and it's really been interesting. He's been working. Adam Schefter broke the news, 3 weeks ago, maybe?
Something like that, yeah.
And since then, maybe a month.
It was when you were out, I think, right?
I don't remember exactly, but maybe 3 weeks ago, a month. Since then, Gruden has been grinding. Gruden has been the Gruden grinder. He has been all over social media. He's doing a lot of videos, and I know Barstool's helping him out with that, but it seems like, from everything I'm seeing, like he is all in on really trying to spread the love of the game that he has. We all know how passionate he is about football, and spread the love of the game. And we know, resides here in Tampa, and he is actually, if you're somebody looking for a job, and we're here to help you out, goons. We hear people all the time reaching out to us. They want to get involved in media. How do they get involved? Well, listen to Coach Gruden. Here's your chance.
How's it going? This is John Gruden. I'm at the Fired Football Coaches Association right here in Tampa, Florida, Sunday night. But we're still grinding on the tapes, man, trying to find out who did what, who didn't do what. But we're having a big tryout camp this weekend in Tampa, Florida, right here at the headquarters. We're looking for a few good men that can come and help me with my social media skills, because I don't have very many, but I'm learning. I just need help. And I'm also looking for some guys that love football. Not like it, you gotta love it. Guys that can handle cameras and really help me help others love football. So come and join us this weekend. It'll be awesome. Hope to meet you soon.
Is he a top 10 most football guy ever?
I don't know.
Like, he looks, and just everything about him is football.
He loves football.
There's
a lot of, like Tom Moore might be number one.
Tom Moore he's a top fiver.
Yeah.
Tom Moore's a top fiver.
The guy's been in the game longer than John Gruden's been alive.
Is it just me, or does his voice just sound so condescending? I don't know if it's because I heard the Frank Caliendo impersonation, but ever since I've heard that, it's kind of like I can't take him seriously when he talks.
Well, how does it make it condescending?
I don't know.
Weird,
it's just like the way he sounds. It's almost like he's trying to do an impersonation himself.
Well, that's
I don't know. It's kind of
I
weird.
wouldn't call it condescending. I would say like a caricature of himself. But
sure, that's
condescending means like you're talking down to somebody,
right? And I mean, I think it kind of sounds that way too. It's like he's trying to come off as some. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
I understand the hearing Caliendo do it so many times that
it almost sounds like a joke when he talks.
But
now.
no, that's just John Gruden. That's why people that do impersonations, they'll do them on characters that are interesting and have those voices. And John Gruden is one of those guys. He's always been one of those guys. To me, he's never come across as condescending. Even I was covering the Bucs at the end of John Gruden's career. It's when I had just started covering this team. So I've been in press conferences with him when things were not going well, and he was not very happy sometimes with some of the questions. And even then, Dirk Cutter at times came across as condescending when he got tired of answering questions. Never really got that from Gruden. Gruden is a fiery guy, has always been a fiery guy. Go watch some of the sideline clips of him mic'd up when he was a coach with the Raiders and then with the Bucs. I mean, that is him. He is so intense. This isn't an act. He loves football. He wants to grow the game of football. I think it's a great opportunity. Listen, in Tampa, go get that job. If you are somebody who wants to get involved,
you got to be good at social media, though.
Obviously, no. If you are not good, don't embarrass yourself. Yeah. But if you know how to do these things, which a lot of the younger, if you're a college kid right now, if you're listening, if you're early 20s, mid 20s, and you love football and you know how to work a phone and a camera and you're pretty savvy with social media, you get in with John Gruden right now, who's on the come up again with Barstool.
Dude, I'd go try out if I wasn't part of Bucs Radio.
That's a career. You might look at it as I'm Gruden's cameraman. No. Look at the landscape of how people grow in this. You could get a huge career from this.
If you look at it like I'm John Gruden's cameraman, then you don't love football.
And you're not the guy for the job.
You don't love football. If you love football, just the opportunity to be around someone that could teach you that much about football
soak it in
would
like a
be
sponge.
Worth it.
Yeah,
would
soak
be
that
worth
in.
It.
Definitely. I agree with you on that, Pat.
Seriously, even as a full-time host, I would go try out for this if I didn't work for Bucs Radio. I won't have time, obviously, with that gig to do what he wants as well. If
we couldn't execute that. What he's looking for.
I would figure it out.
No, you would.
Yeah, I would.
I mean, dude, it is intense. Like being a digital editor and knowing how to do those things isn't something you just like look up on Google.
He's looking for help on social media. He's not looking for help filming a movie.
No, I think he wants.
He said social media. It's literally part of what he said.
Yeah, produce great content. I'm sure part of that is I thought he mentioned like having a camera, but I could be wrong on that.
He did. He did. I've got cameras.
Yeah,
I've got a camera.
All right. Well, listen, you're working here, so we don't have to worry about that.
It's true.
But when I watch that, this is just how society works. We lift people up, we drag them down, and then we love the comeback story from when they're dragged down. And I think we're in the midst of that comeback from John Gruden. Now, where it goes, I don't know. What his intentions are, I don't know. But when you see him, and what I mean by that, what I'm alluding to is, does he want to coach in the NFL again? Is there a path to John Gruden coaching the NFL again?
I think if he did, tying himself to Barstool was probably not the smartest move.
Roger Goodell hates Dave Portnoy and Barstool. Hates him. But if you're popular, and right now, video, podcast, social media, YouTube, that's why we have our YouTube page. Go check us out, WDAE. Please subscribe. You get out there and you're seen and you're heard, you're back in the public eye, and you're doing positive things, and you got a positive attitude, people will embrace you and they'll lift you up and they'll root for you. We've seen it time and time again.
But as an NFL team, does a guy going and doing fun videos on YouTube or Barstool Sports make you want to hire him as a head coach? I don't think so.
If he's not just the love of the game and the passion, which goes into being a head coach, but still, some people lose that fire. He still has it. But kind of like when he was doing broadcasting, kind of like you look around, look at J.J. Redick with the Lakers, and I know it's basketball, but some of these talking heads, like, people see them, they get enamored by them, they're hearing them all the time, and the executives are watching these guys too, and they go, oh, well, yeah, he's still got it. He's still got that mind. That's a mind I want in my locker room. And you kind of become infatuated and enamored by it. And because it's in your face all the time, if it's a positive reaction, you might be more open and willing to bring them back in the light, more so than if they just were to fall into oblivion and be nowhere.
No, but I think there's better avenues to getting a coaching job than being in the media, in my opinion.
Listen,
by the way,
it helped them land a $100 million contract.
We're telling people to go try out for this. He's asking for people to go try out for this. He says it's happening here in Tampa on Sunday, and that's it. That's quote unquote the headquarters. Does anybody know where John Gruden's the headquarters is?
Yeah, the Fire and Coaches Association headquarters.
Like John's a weird dude. Like, we know somebody, I can't talk about it on the air, who was watching film with him the last couple years, right? Like, they were getting together during the draft process and watching film together. And that person, like, he didn't want that person talking about it. Like, don't tell. Like, we couldn't bring it up on the air. And it's like, what? Like, and he's gone from that to, like, I'm on Barstool.
Yeah, where, and you're right about this job. Where do you find it? Maybe he might be trying to angle that. Maybe he wants to be a college football coach. I don't know.
I think he probably could have got a college gig without this.
Yeah, no,
already.
I would agree with that. But we're gonna look to find where you can apply, where you can actually apply to this. You just show up at Gruden's house. We'll try to get you that information. But I think it is a really good opportunity. We've got Situation Men coming up next on the other side. It's Pat and Aaron Show.
WDAE traffic update.
Time for Situation Men. Casey Warner, what do we have today? A lot of Jameis Winston or?
Yeah, a lot of Jameis Winston or. But before we get to that, I got to bring up what you brought up earlier. You took my thunder, Aaron. You said what I was actually going to say. It was Bo Nix or Caleb Williams. So good. Good. What's the word? Telepathic thinking, I guess.
Yeah, we were in cahoots.
In cahoots.
We were in cahoots. I think that when we go to that one, I'm still going with Caleb Williams.
Okay. So the one I have though that I sent you all, Bo Nix or Trevor Lawrence. They're only a year apart. What are you thinking?
I mean, it's Trevor Lawrence because you go into it already with the experience. I think Trevor's having just a really bad year. I also think Trevor has the ability to be a really good quarterback. Still don't know what the ceiling is for Bo Nix. I'm not convinced the ceiling is super high. He's an ultimate competitor. Sometimes that wins out. But look at the completion percentage yesterday. And he's a rookie. But, hey, he's winning ball games. And that defense is really good despite their performance yesterday. Even though they had a couple pick sixes. So I guess you can't say it was too bad. But they gave up a lot of yards as well. I would go with Trevor Lawrence.
Pat?
I love Bo Nix and his attitude. Like, I listened to him after the game. I was very impressed, and I like the kid. But Aaron's right. We haven't seen enough from him yet. And I do think Trevor Lawrence, even though he's going through a really tough patch, has shown us at least more than Bo Nix has. So I would take Trevor Lawrence right now, but I don't know how much longer we'll be able to say that.
I don't think I've ever heard tough patch. I've heard rough patch.
What's wrong with a tough patch?
Nothing. It makes sense. Like
it's
it
worse
goes.
than a rough patch, believe me.
Tough is worse than...
Oh, yeah.
Casey, do you think tough is worse than rough when we're talking about patches?
No.
I think a rough patch is worse than tough patch.
I haven't been through patches.
Yeah. I don't know. Patches. All right, let's roll this off here real quick. Jameis Winston or Derek Carr?
Jameis.
Okay. Jameis Winston or C.J. Stroud?
C.J. Stroud, and it's not even close.
Yeah,
I love Jameis.
Okay. Jameis Winston or Kirk Cousins? Kirk?
Yeah.
Okay.
We both hated saying it so much.
That didn't sound too convincing.
We're like sad because we're sad about it.
We love
That's what
Jameis,
it is.
man. We do.
Okay.
I was so pumped for him last night and watching the first half, and then I was like, oh, Jameis.
Jameis Winston or Drake May?
Jameis.
Yeah, Jameis.
I don't think Drake. A lot of people believe in Drake May. I don't see it.
Well, that's early.
Still a rookie. I'm like the GM now. I'm like a coach. I'm just quitting on them.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston or Anthony Richardson?
Jameis, because Anthony needs to probably change positions. He's not a great quarterback. He's just an athlete.
Yeah, Jameis.
Jameis Winston or Geno Smith?
Jameis.
Wow.
I'm not a Geno guy. That's a little.
I know you're not.
That's
I'm not
a little
either,
bias
but
for me.
He's doing a good job. I'd have to go with Geno.
He's doing an okay job. He's okay. Seattle, that division's. I can't believe San Francisco's in the cellar, man.
I love it, man. And on that note, Jameis Winston or Brock Purdy?
Brock. Even though Brock is not.
He's reliable, though. He's
reliable.
He's not as all over the place, and that's what you need.
Yeah, but he's not. Brock's never going to be like. I never look at Brock as being a top quarterback in this league.
Neither will Jameis.
All right, one more. Jameis Winston or Sam Darnold?
I hate this so much.
Sam Darnold. It's Sam Darnold. I mean, what Sam Darnold has done this year, I think he took a lot of lessons and grew a lot in his time as a backup in San Francisco and getting on the field at times, too, due to injuries. I think that it's easily, you know how high I am on Sam Darnold.
Jameis needs to go to Los Angeles and be the backup for the Rams, and then if something happens,
I wouldn't mind that.
Like, if anybody can turn him around, it's McVay and that kind of offense. Like, that's what he needs.
It would kind of go hand in hand because, like, he would throw so many picks, it would force McVay to run the ball, which he needs to do more anyways. I'd love it. I would love it.
It was a really bad sign for me with Jameis. This is where I went, oh no. When Bruce Arians decided, who is a quarterback whisperer, one of the greatest of all time, decides to come to the Buccaneers mainly because of what he sees and believes in Jameis Winston. And within the snap of a finger, and it wasn't just Tom Brady becoming available. They could say
it was
that.
before that.
It was before that. They were done with Jameis. And for that to happen so quickly.
Especially when Carson Palmer threw a bunch of interceptions in that offense the first year, too.
It tells me Bruce saw something that he goes, I don't know if that can be fixed. And that's very concerning.
And by the way,
because
it hasn't been fixed.
it hasn't. And it's
He got
concerning.
his eyes fixed.
And that's why it is concerning me. It's like you see all the ability. How can you not believe a guy can figure that out? But I guess there's just something with Jameis where, like, reading
That's
the
something
field.
a lot of guys.
Yeah,
a lot of
reading the
guys don't
field.
get there.
We've always heard Jameis is a really smart, high IQ quarterback. But when you see it in the game, the reads aren't matching up. It's a little too
Why
fast
is Tom
for him.
Brady the greatest ever?
Because he can in
Did it in
game he
crunch
sees
time.
he knows where guys are going to be. He can read defenses, and he makes quick.
Jameis
quick
knows
decisions.
those things too.
Quick decisions.
Not Bo knows,
That's
Jameis
it.
knows.
Jameis can make all the right decisions. He can't make them fast enough.
Look at
and
Ja-
that's what made Brady great. Not a great arm, not great athleticism. It was timing. It was to be able to make the decision fast enough.
To your point, I believe it was the first pick six from Jameis yesterday. It was a 1st and 10. They're driving, and he waits. He's hesitating, and then he throws it, and it was too late. I believe Baker did the same thing this weekend. You wait a little too long, you miss your guy, and then you decide, all right, now I'm going to go to him. Well, the defense has already collapsed on it. They've got you.
And when you
beat.
say a little too long, it's not always even a visual thing. It's literally fractions of a second to be able to make the decision fast enough to make the play in a way that other guys cannot. That's what made Tom Brady great.
Believe in Jameis.
That's what I got for that. All right, so
Thank you.
next, let's get to a few more of these situations. Which team, thought to be a major contender going into this season with a losing record currently, is in worse shape going forward for the immediate future? The 49ers or the Bengals?
I think I can't believe I'm saying this. It's the 49ers. Mm-hmm. It's the 49ers because if you have a quarterback, you have a better chance. If you're looking just 1v1, the Bengals have an MVP quarterback in Joe Burrow. That is without a question. Got hurt last year, came back. I mean, he is an MVP type of caliber quarterback. Because the team sucks, he's not going to be the MVP this year. That defense is terrible. But the 49ers, I don't know, Pat, if Christian McCaffrey's at the back end, but he's battled a lot of injuries, and he might be done. We just said we don't believe in Brock Purdy. The defense isn't as sharp. It's clearly the Bengals for me.
It's the Bengals because they're already situated. They're already paying.
So wait, you mean the Niners are in worse shape?
Yes,
the Bengals are in better shape.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
the Niners are in worse shape because the Bengals are already situated. They're already paying Joe Burrow, and they're built the team around him with that money in place. They're not paying in San Francisco yet. And when it comes time to pony up for Brock Purdy, which they're going to do probably, they're probably going to pay that guy a lot of money because he's been a good quarterback for them. And when they do, that's less money for everybody else. So it's kind of like the Dallas Cowboys situation. They're not going to get better. They're just going to get more expensive.
And if you start to lose players and you lose, let's say McCaffrey, whatever, he gets hurt towards the end, I'm interested to see what type of player Brock Purdy is without those weapons.
By the way, Mason on the IR as well. They're both done for the season.
Yeah.
Insane.
Pretty bad. All right, so one more I want to get into here real quick because I got a funny story about it. What's the worst thing you have or could possibly lose while being at the airport?
It's your wallet and ID. We ID in the wallet. It's simple.
Okay, do you both agree on that?
How could it be
what
anything
else?
else? You
What
can't-
else could it possibly
your
be?
phone, maybe your travel luggage. I don't know.
How do you?
Maybe like a device.
Both of those
laptop.
so much easier to replace than your wallet.
If
to
you
be honest,
lose your
And
wallet-
you can't go anywhere.
Everything's
If-
digital now. You have it all on your phone,
Casey,
right?
if you don't have your wallet, you can't get on the plane.
Without the
That's not true.
If you
You can
lose
get on
it
the plane.
past, if you lose
Yeah,
it past the
past TSA.
security, then you're
Well,
fine.
yeah.
So it happened to me yesterday.
But then you have no money when you get to where you're going, unless you're coming home.
Unless you
like
have it on your phone, like your
Yeah,
card's on your
Apple
phone.
Pay.
Yeah.
I have that.
Yeah. So
what happened to you, Casey?
So what happened to me is I'm sitting at the little the waiting area to go on the plane.
This is Kentucky. This is back in Kentucky.
Yeah, Northern Kentucky, Cincy International Airport, and I'm sitting there, and I took a picture of my ticket from the WKU game Saturday. I put it on X, and this is what I get for posting pictures on social media. I put it in my lap, put the ticket back in my wallet, and I didn't put my wallet back in my pocket. Put everything else back in my pocket. I got up, and I realized I was at the wrong gate, so I turned around, and everyone else is at the other gate. And by the time I realized I was halfway through the line to get on the plane, I was like, oh no, where's my wallet? And I didn't realize that I had set it in my lap. So I ran all the way back to Big Boy, the burger place that I got a burger at. Was not there. I ran to the bathroom where I went. It was not there. I went to the seat that I was at. It was not there. So I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh no, it's gone. So I go to the desk where they're checking tickets, and a lady had it open right there, looking at faces as I was going by.
Wow.
And somebody took it to her.
That was nice of them to do that.
Clutch.
How much money did they take out of it?
Oh no, I don't carry cash typically unless I have to.
Most people don't anymore.
Yeah, no, it's a cashless society now, man. Get with it.
I'm glad you got your wallet back. Yeah, because that would be, according to Pat and I, and it happened to you.
I would just
it's the
lock
worst
all my
thing.
cards and then buy a new ID. But there it is.
Still, it's major
It's
inconvenience.
not that easy at all.
Major
It's not. No.
Even if nobody
nightmare.
steals anything from you, it's just a giant pain in the ass.
Would have been horrible.
It all would have sucked. We've got Nick Wise coming up here. He doesn't suck. We're going to do a college football rewind. We got
nice
a lot
of
to
you.
get to. He's very happy as Michigan took down Ohio State. We're going to get back into the Rays and their letter. We've got a lot to get to.
Donnie Christmas, I'm taking your phone call if you're still there on the other side.
Donnie. My bad, Donnie. Pat's a hero. Next.
The Player of the Night, presented by Rivard Buick GMC.
High-scoring game won by the Broncos in the Mile High City last night, 41-32 on Monday Night Football over the Browns. Jameis Winston had a great game despite the loss, 497 yards through the air, 4 touchdowns, but 3 interceptions on 58 throws. Jameis Winston is your Rivard Buick GMC Player of the Night. Rivard Buick GMC, no games, no gimmicks, no hidden fees. Check out that inventory easily at RivardBuickGMC.com. We are professional grade. I am Casey Warner, and this is 95.3 WDAE and AM 620.
Tampa Bay Sports Radio, 95.3 WDAE and AM 620.
The PayPal.
5.3 WDAE and AM 620.
You're a real jerk, you know that? You really are. You're a real jerk. I told Pat,
I'm exactly what you need in your life, Aaron Jacobson. You need someone like me.
I was like, it may be hard to believe, but I was like, and I was saying it as if like I'm still kind of a jerk at times now, but I was like, as a teenager, I was a really big jerk. You're like, no, I believe it.
I think you said I was infinitely more of a jerk than I am now, and I was like, it's actually very easy to believe.
Really annoying teenage boy. By the way,
Pat and I, we would never lie to you.
I can imagine.
Only when I was a teenager. By the way, I want to remind people, well, we're usually out there. We're not out there today. It is Giving Tuesday.
That's right.
Metropolitan Ministries, they do an amazing job, and it's been a tough season with the hurricanes and so many people. I can't imagine how tough Thanksgiving was and how, not even being able to have Thanksgiving in their own home, a lot of people. So Christmas being it's going to be difficult as well. So it's Giving Tuesday. So help out if you can, Metropolitan Ministries, and they are going to, every gift you give until midnight, they're going to triple it up to $100,000. So pretty incredible.
Yeah, that's awesome. They do such an unbelievable job. It has been an honor to be out there the last couple of years for Giving Tuesday. Wish we could have been out there today, but certainly if you can go by and donate anything, we know that they will appreciate it. 888-546-4620 if you want to jump aboard. We'll get into the Rays and St. Pete and that nonsense that's going on over there in just a moment. But I did say before the break we'd get to Donnie Christmas. He's been waiting nearly 40 minutes, so let's get him into the show. Donnie, good morning. How are you?
You have 40 seconds.
Hey, good morning, fellas. I'm actually driving to Pensacola, so just listening to y'all. But, Aaron, I got to make a comment on Jameis, all right? My analogy is he's fool's gold. If you take fool's gold and look at it, it's shiny, it's beautiful, but when it comes under duress, it comes out to what it really is, and it's not true gold. And Jameis has all the talent in the world, but he doesn't make the right decisions. And 10 years worth of this shows not only is he never going to get another job, but as far as even him becoming a backup after this, there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be hesitant.
No, Donnie.
I want to hear what Donnie says.
He might be the best backup in football.
No, wait, guys, let me finish.
Let me
finish. The bottom line is that the reason why is you can't make those kinds of decisions. Look, I love Jameis's character as a person. He's changed a lot. I think he's grown a lot. But the bottom line is every single time it's come down to a big decision like this or under pressure, he makes the wrong throw. And it's consistent, guys. That's the problem. You're talking about 10 years of this. And, Aaron, you kind of talked out of both sides of your mouth because
I do that a lot.
You talked about how much – because you talked about how much you thought he could get another job and he could change, but yet Bruce Arians is the one who even came in and said, you know what, I can't do anything with this guy.
Well, yeah,
So
listen, Donnie, it's not really talking about both sides of my mouth. It's like sometimes I'll make points and I'll think about things, and that's something I thought about as I was talking about it, like Bruce Arians being the quarterback whisperer. Now, my feelings on if Jameis can turn it around are obviously different from Bruce Arians, and Bruce Arians obviously has more football acumen than I could even think of. In one sentence, he has more football acumen than I could even dream of having. So it's hard to kind of equate that. It's just a feel that I have. I think that and more of a hope that I have with Jameis that he can pull it together here. But name me one backup, Donnie, in football right now that you would take over Jameis Winston as a backup. Name one.
Well, I don't know enough about all the backups, but my point is
that should be your point
no
right there.
But wait a minute. But whatever backups are out there, okay? When you even compare Jameis to Baker, right? The difference between Jameis and Baker is, for whatever reason, Baker wins. So when it comes down to the final stretch, Baker makes the key plays to win.
We just started winning. It's not like Baker's had a lot of winning in his career. He wouldn't be here.
Jameis took down Baltimore earlier in the year. Yeah, like this game wasn't his game. It was a Jameis type of game, but he's also had some.
But look at Jameis's numbers taking down Baltimore. It's because Jameis didn't make the key mistakes. When it's on his shoulders,
Donnie,
he can't saddle the load.
Donnie, overall, listen to me. Overall, you are 100% correct about Jameis Winston and who he is as a quarterback. However, I think you are greatly discounting what the backup quarterback role is and how much it takes to be a backup quarterback in this league. Because knowing who most of them are, if you look around the league, Jameis is better than probably all of them, if not most of them.
I got 3 for you.
As a teammate, he is the greatest teammate you can have. So just on that alone, with the ability, plus he's not a headache, he's anything but. Everywhere he goes, his teammates love him. And by the way, Donnie, I'm just looking at it now. That Ravens-Cleveland game, which Cleveland won, Jameis drove them down the field 70 yards in the last 2 minutes of that game. So don't say without actually knowing that he can't do it, because he's done it.
I'm not saying he can't do it. What I'm saying is in the key moments, for whatever reason, he tries to push too hard and makes the wrong decision.
For sure. It
That
happens
was the difference
a lot.
between him and Tom Brady and some of the other guys when you're saying about, making those tight throws and everything else. And that's the bottom line is
No, that's why he's not a starter, Don.
Right. That's my point is I don't think he's ever going to be a starter. And I think there are going to be some teams that are going to be reticent to make him even a backup because of what a heartbreak he is in those big moments, unfortunately.
Yeah,
That's all.
but Donnie, almost every backup quarterback in football is going to break your heart in big moments. That's why Tom Moore, which the quote we've told a million times, that's why when Tom Moore was asked why Jim Sorgi didn't get more snaps in practice, he said, talking about Peyton Manning, if 18 goes down, we're effed, and we don't practice effed. The reason why most teams in football are effed if the starting quarterback goes down is because most backup quarterbacks aren't very good.
Hey, thank you, Donnie Christmas. Appreciate the call.
Yeah, thank you, Donnie.
I think when you look at Jameis, I would much rather take a no risk, no risk it, no biscuit type of mentality of he
Is
can
that
sling
the
for
sentence
5.
you were talking about earlier when you said he knows more in one sentence?
Yeah, probably. No risk it, no biscuit. I would take that over a backup, a normal, typical backup where you're just going to come in, you're going to run the football, you're going to be really safe. At least with Jameis, you can go win a football game.
I got 3.
All right, real quick. Hold on before you get to that. I just want to respond really quick to what Aaron just said. To your point, you're not going to have a really good backup quarterback who's probably going to bring you to a Super Bowl and make something special happen. But if you were going to, it'd be somebody like Jameis Winston. Somebody that just caught fire at the right time and was able to drag your team to victories. Jameis can actually do that. He'll drag him to a lot of losses, too. You'd have to get him at the right moment. But you're not going to get that out of probably most guys.
Casey, who are better backups than Jameis Winston as a backup?
Hold on, taking a call. I will take Justin Fields. I will take Michael Penix, and I will take
hold on.
And I will take Andy Dalton.
Sometimes I want to slow play and I just want to talk about it. But
he doesn't like.
He likes to ram it through.
Me first.
When I think about those guys, Michael Penix, I thought about him earlier.
I don't think he counts,
and because it did cross my mind earlier, but we haven't seen that's a rookie quarterback, a top pick who we haven't seen.
He's not really a backup quarterback.
Yes,
like he is
he's a future starter.
But that's not why he's there. Like when you talk about backup quarterbacks, you're talking about like real backup quarterbacks, not a guy who's, like you said, drafted to be the future.
Justin Fields, I think, is a great one. And then since I was thinking about what I want to say about Michael Penix, I didn't hear your last one.
Andy Dalton.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no. I think Andy Dalton would definitely make less mistakes than Jameis, and
fair.
he's a great game manager.
Okay. I can't disagree with
less
that.
Less risk. Definitely less risk.
Yeah, and I could see other people taking him as the backup over Jameis. I don't think it's crazy. It's just not what I would do.
But the only thing, again, if you're going with a guy who's a backup quarterback, yes, there's less risk with Andy Dalton, but give me the guy who is high risk, high reward, because chances are I'm effed without my starting quarterback.
On the Bartow 4DA text line, there are teams right now that wish Jameis was their QB1.
Yeah, who? Tell me who wishes Jameis was their starting quarterback.
The Raiders.
Titans, maybe?
The Titans, I think is a good one. The Raiders.
Wish it was Jameis?
I mean, they would take. I don't think it's they wish it was Jameis. I think they would take Jameis in a heartbeat right now over who they have.
Honestly, maybe the Jets.
By the way, hold on. Tennessee, let's go back and look at what Will Levis has done lately. Because the conversation,
he's been better,
the conversation there is all of a sudden like, wait, could this be the guy? Are we maybe giving up on another guy too early?
They just got destroyed.
Listen,
by a rookie
Will
quarterback.
Levis has played better as of late.
I think the Jets should take Jameis.
The Jets and the Giants could both use Jameis.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to have Nick Wise join us. It's the College Football Rewind. We couldn't do it yesterday. We are going to do it next.
WDAE.
traffic update.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores.
Delays on southbound US 41 near State Road 54. It's all due to the exit for Dale Mabry. It's blocked off. You'll have to head south to County Line Road and cut back across to the west and rejoin Dale Mabry. Big delays in Tampa, southbound 275 from the downtown area towards the West Shore area. All lanes are open, though. Earlier crash near the Howard Franklin, now clear. Extra heavy traffic on the westbound Gandy Bridge from before the bridge all the way across the bay to the light near Derby Lane. With traffic, I'm Randy Myers.
Staples has amazing deals on everything you need for the holidays, from custom holiday cards and photo gifts to laptops.
WDAE and AM 620. I thought Nick Wise was coming in here to talk college football with us, but he just wants to talk about the Rays ballpark, apparently.
No, we're talking college football. I've had it. I gave you guys what I think versus what you think. I've been listening to you guys, and then, I have the conversation in my car, but you can't hear me when I'm in my car. So, I get the moment when I walk in the studio to go, you're wrong, I'm right.
Plus, you don't want to get on the Rays' bad side early on,
I'm not on the Rays' bad side. I just wish they would both. I wish they would both come together and get an agreement. I don't think there's one side really more to blame than the other. I think they're both at fault, and I think I understand, and I disagree with you.
They're both at fault. You're right.
You are painting. You want it to be on the city. I get that, and that's fine. I don't think this is all on the city. So
but we're not.
All I know is the Rays didn't say. The Rays didn't say, "Hey, we're going to do that," and then not do it.
How about college football this weekend?
All right, Nick is here. Our favorite white boy from Detroit is here. I forgot our audio didn't work.
You don't have the drop?
No, well, I have the drop. By the way, our audio isn't working in here, by the way, for next gen.
In here, too?
Should
There's a white boy from Detroit.
That's what we were going to,
That's Casey playing
For some reason, the next gen is not firing off.
Yeah, the pot's on. What's up?
From in here.
Log out, log back in. Submit a ticket, Pat.
Yeah, that's what it is. You got to submit a ticket,
Did
Casey.
you submit a ticket?
No, that's the producer's job, isn't it?
I agree. Submit that ticket, Casey.
How happy are you? Now, I want to actually, what I want to do here is, now everyone, if you don't know, Nick Wise, huge Michigan
Who doesn't know that Nick Wise is a huge Michigan
somebody might be
fan?
listening to the station for the first
Exactly.
time.
And I'm just kind of filibustering until I get the text. We were texting over the weekend, Nick and myself, and I texted a picture. I was at Rosedale in Bradenton playing around to golf with my aunt and uncle, and I saw somebody who had this really cool golf cart. It's a Michigan decked out golf cart. Really cool, right? So I thought Saturday morning, I'm going to text it to Nick. He's going to be pumped. So I said, rooting for you. He said, beautiful. I said, rooting for you. Here's Nick's response. This is before the Michigan game.
I had to put myself in a mindset,
And I get this. In which they upset Ohio State. Thanks, bro. No Loveland today. We are going to get smashed.
Wow.
Yeah, thought we were. I didn't know that Ryan Day.
What do you mean by I had to put myself in a mindset? A mindset that they were going to get their asses kicked?
I had to put myself in the mindset that they were going to lose, so if they did, it didn't hurt as much.
I don't understand that.
Set the
We
bar
all
low,
do this
jump
as
over it.
sports
I do
fans.
that. I did respond to that with saying, gotta believe. And
it happened.
I believed.
And the reason it happened is because Ryan Day tried to play Michigan's game, which was so weird, a power game. It's like he wanted to prove that his team wasn't weak. It goes all the way back to when he called out Lou Holtz. They're a strong team. I love these kids. He wanted to prove that he had a strong team. And his game plan, which is the dumbest game plan ever, was to run up the middle at 2 first-round defensive tackles. When you have all of the speed and all of the finesse on the outside, there was no Will Johnson in the game at corner. You have the best wide receivers in all of college football, and all you had to do is play 7-on-7 football, and you decided to try to play smash mouth football because you wanted to prove a point rather than win a game, and you lost.
More annoying. Leonard on Twitter after Ohio State actually beats Michigan, or Leonard on Twitter after they lose. I feel like it's just as bad, if not worse.
So he had me blocked. Because he doesn't want to take. So it's actually funny. He tweeted at me, one of our listeners, for those of you that don't know, big Buckeyes fan, giving me crap. He actually tweeted at me one day saying, I have Nick Wise muted. And I didn't see it because I have him muted. And somebody else commented on it, which is how I saw his thing. So, yeah, he had me blocked. But then after the game, he unblocked me and said, oh, you get bragging rights. You can talk all the crap you want. I said, buddy, it's 4 years. I got nothing left to say. I'm out of jokes for Ohio State fans.
They got to fire Ryan Day. I mean, this is a fireable offense. Last year was teetering on fireable offense. This year it is fireable offense. You lose to Michigan, in which you had no business at the shoe losing that game at home, and you lost.
All you had to do is play your game, and you didn't. You decided to play their game, and you are not ready to play their smash mouth kind of football. When all you had to do is beat them on the outside. The receivers were open all day long.
Anything short of a national championship actually save Ryan Day's job?
No, I think he could be in trouble because that game does mean a lot, and it's clear it's a mental thing.
It means
right?
everything outside of the natty for them.
He's not going, like, it is a mental thing. He just can't get over it, and I feel like it's broken him. I mean, this guy compared to this, like, almost the worst thing in his life, the only thing worse was his dad dying. Like, you know, he compares it up there with his dad's death. Like, the guy is damaged, and I don't know how this team, look, they still have the 4th best odds to win the championship. I don't know if they have the mindset to
He's,
be
like,
able to
mentally
get out
damaged?
of it. I think so. What did you see after the flag got planted?
Yeah.
Ryan Day was frozen.
Yeah.
I don't think he knew what was going on.
He saw
was
it scatter. He saw the thing scatter, and he like turned around real quick to look, and then he just kind of
he just kept
walked
going.
over.
If you read his lips, he kept going, "What just happened? How did this happen?" Like he's literally saying that to himself, and I don't think he's literally in his body at that moment.
Is
like,
that what he
he's-
said? Like, is there
He
lip
was
reading?
saying what just happened. Yeah, if you go back and look at
I think he was talking about like the melee and the flag.
That's what I was wondering.
Like,
He wasn't thinking like, what just happened?
I think
Like,
he was.
Sam
When you look at
Darnold
his
seeing
face.
ghosts.
See, he has jokes left. I agree with you.
Nah.
It's got to be what is.
That wasn't
I
a
think
joke.
It's probably
I really
more
thought
like
that.
what's happening in front of me with the fight.
Maybe, but he was staring that like he didn't get his guys off the field. He was literally
He's
not
scared.
there in that moment.
Just
Like
scared.
I thought in that moment he was like not all there. It was interesting, man.
So if I was trying to wrap my head around because Ohio State loses, if Georgia would have lost, which they really could have,
should have.
Miami lost.
By the way,
Cle-
those overtime rules are disgusting.
Stupid.
Disgusting.
It needs to be the first. Start them off at the 25 every time. I love that, but after that,
No.
that's when it gets stupid.
How about play football?
No, start them at the 25 like they used to. I don't like when they get down to the 2-point conversions. This team goes on this end zone, then we got to walk 98 yards down to the other side, then 98 yards back. Just start them off at the 25 before they
Combined
mess.
NFL in college.
No,
That's what I say.
No, before they mess with the overtime in college football had the best overtime. It's not even close.
My buddy Stuart, I was talking to him over the weekend, and he came up with actually something very interesting. We kind of did it together.
I don't believe you.
Do your normal, start at do your normal overtime rules. Instead of moving them up to do the 2-point conversion, move them back. Move them back every time they get a touchdown or whatever they score and it's tied again for the next overtime. Move them back 5 or 10 yards.
Just do the first overtime at 25-yard line like they do and make it 2-point conversion. No extra points, just 2 points. And if they both get the same score, back to the 25-yard line. None of this 2-yard line,
2-point, yeah.
98 yards the other way, 2-yard line, 98 the other. That
It's
was
so
so much downtime.
Stewart's idea is better than the current rules, but I hate changing the game that drastically because all of a sudden you're in overtime. No, play football. Kick the ball off. Stop somebody on defense. If they score, the game's over. The NFL used to have it right until they screwed up and said, oh, everyone needs to touch the football. No, play defense. If you can't play defense on the most important drive of the game,
Silly.
you don't deserve to
a
win.
bad- It's a
I don't
bad
disagree, but both teams should also have the football.
It's a bad take. You're
Especially in college when one loss could eliminate you and do so much damage.
in the NFL, you've got guys kicking 60-plus yarders now, high 50s with ease, getting the football and
It's
getting.
not with ease. We see guys missing all the time.
No, they're
this
missing
weekend.
shorter ones. The 50-plus yarders they seem to be getting easily. So I think that you get 30 yards.
And by the way, you don't see those in college very often.
That's true. But if you get 30 yards, 40 yards, and you're in field goal range in the NFL,
stop somebody.
I mean, like it's
Stop
not
somebody.
it's not the same as it used to be,
See,
Pat.
I agree with both. This is why you got to incorporate both. What you do is you give each team an opportunity to get the ball, whether it be a field goal or a touchdown. Each team has the opportunity to match. And if they have matched, get rid of the tie. Get rid of the tie in the NFL. That's what I say. Keep going, but then after you get a touchdown or a field goal, then take it to the 25, and then just start doing the 25 thing.
Too much.
It's too much because then you're getting people hurt and you're taking all of these plays. And in the NFL, you can't do it. The way college football used to do it, starting at the 25, was the best. And then they went to this 2-point thing, and that's where it's stupid.
I think making the game look nothing like it looks the rest of the game is foolish.
They're in the red zone. It's awesome. Like, what are you not excited about that? Like, get off the principle thing of the old school. Like, you're telling me when a game goes into overtime in college football, they're lined up at the 25. You're not intrigued in that?
I mean, I'm intrigued in it because it's football and it's
awesome.
It is what it is. I can't change it. If I could, I would. I don't want that. I want to see teams play football like they've been playing all game long and not all of a sudden change the rules. It's the same take. By the way, it's the same take I had about the NHL overtime rules when they changed it to be 3-on-3.
We like those.
And I absolutely love those. Yeah, I feel like I was wrong about that.
We just
in my
got
opinion, but-
We just got a tweet saying, and this is I wonder conspiracy theory here. It's from 813 Bets. I think the big boys from Vegas got involved and they did not want to see easy over cash. Those were easy overs. Like if you got to overtime in college and you had the over, you're most of the time hitting that. It's going back and forth. So
Vegas
that's
controls everything.
How much does that change though? Like how many overtime games are there where like And they're still scoring a ton of points.
Yeah, but once you get to the 2-point conversion back and forth, we're only talking about two.
Yeah, they used to not be a 2-2-2. It used to just continue to be 8-8-8.
You could
or
get
6-6-6.
28 points within 2 minutes. You know?
They're all bad. All the overtime rules are bad. Nick Wise will continue to join us. We'll talk more about planting flags and more about a big weekend of college football coming up on the other side on the Pat and Aaron Show on 95.3 WDAE and AM 620.
Tampa Bay Sports Radio, 95.3 WD.
Pat Aaron Show, 95.3 WDAE and AM 620. WDAE.
Check.
Welcome back to the Pat Aaron Show, 95.3 WDAE and AM 620. We're working out some kinks over here. Give us a break. We're having a good time.
We're kinky.
Oh, well, hey, that's your business. So, 888-546-4620 if you want to jump aboard. We can take phone calls on college football. That's what we're talking right now. Nick Wise, I did want to ask you about something I heard the other day that I was it was an interesting topic because I love conference championship games. We get some of the best football we get all season long, but we're in a situation now with this college football playoff and the scenarios that come out of the college football into the college football playoffs out of the championship week where teams are looking at it like it could be a bad thing to play in the championship game because it could actually hurt our chances to play in a playoff game. It's very bizarre. Do you think that, and it can affect seeding, all of that, do you think that teams and conferences are going to consider getting rid of the conference championships because of how it could impact the playoffs?
Zero chance that happens. Too much money involved. They're playing for a first-round bye. I think that the big problem with it is,
because I heard coaches talk, like college coaches talking about this, right? So I don't think it's
they're not going to get rid of it. There's too much money involved, isn't it? Like the Chick-fil-A SEC championship, like they're all sponsored, right?
Dr.
Like
Pepper Big 12
there you
championship.
go. Like you're never going to be able to get rid of the money. There's too much money surrounding it. You're fighting for a first-round bye. If you watch the Georgia Tech game, they pretty much told you, ESPN, which has the rights to the playoff and kind of controls it all. How many times did they say Georgia wins and they're in, even if they lose the SEC? Like, they cemented it. It got to the point, it was so annoying. It was Joe Tessitore, I believe, on the call, just kept hammering that message over and over. Georgia wins, they're in the playoff, because nobody with a sensible mind would kick them out if they lost in the SEC championship, to the point where it's like, dude, shut up. Like, we get it. You are the home of the SEC. I understand that. But the whole painting of the narrative every 5 minutes from ESPN was getting kind of annoying. I don't think teams will be punished if they lose their conference championship game. Maybe some will. Maybe SMU does if they lose. Clemson, if they lose, they're out. SMU, if they lose, I think they should still be in. They're a one-loss team. I don't know how you really punish them for that extra game.
Could you try to break down real quick, because even I struggle with this, of how this is structured, how this playoff is structured.
A mess.
It's a mess. Like when we're talking about the automatic bids and then talking about the next highest ranked non-conference champion, it's very confusing.
It's the highest ranked conference champion. That's why Boise State
the four
is
highest that get
correct.
They get the bye.
I think
right?
a lot of people thought it was the Power Fours automatically got the bye, and it wasn't until the first rankings came out when you saw Boise State get a bye, and you're like, whoa, what? And so the four highest ranked conference champions, doesn't matter what conference they're in, gets the bye week. I think where the problem lies is they don't reseed. So let's say,
Agreed.
Let's pretend, we have to pretend because they couldn't really do it, that Ohio State beat Michigan. Let's just pretend, right? And they play Oregon. If you lose that game, you become the 5 seed. If you win it, you become the 1. The 5 seed, you're looking at something like Arizona State and Boise State, where if you were the 1 seed, your first matchup's going to be Tennessee or Georgia. And it's like, I think I'd rather play 2 games against Boise State and Arizona State than go up against Tennessee or Georgia.
It's
so
very interesting.
It's
That's
really
an interesting question.
It's
right
dumb
there.
the way that it plays out. And how many times in our lifetime now, this is what, our 4th different scenario, right? It used to just be the regular season and we voted on a national championship.
That was the
And there was
worst.
the
That was the
BCS and the
worst.
computer decided it.
Also
then it was
worse.
a 4-team playoff. It
Getting better.
Sucked too. And now there's a 12 and there's still problems with it. I think eventually it's going to go to 16. And I think what's stopping that right now is the other conferences don't want the Big Ten. And
what about?
and
It
the
sounded
SEC
like
to
they're
have-
ready to go to 14 already, though.
Well, I think it's 14 or 16, but the problem
14
is
first is what it sounds
the
like.
Big Ten and SEC want 4 automatic bids, and the other conferences are like, whoa. But the other
it's
conferences should go ahead and just agree to it because the Big Ten and the SEC are going to get in regardless.
That's it. Bingo. I was just going to say, we're still talking about Alabama having an outside chance at this thing. So Georgia.
Yeah, but to guarantee those conferences the bids,
they're going to have to be high-performing teams.
Georgia, Texas, Alabama, South Carolina. South Carolina's having a season.
There's a good question up on the text line. Says Bama, Ole Miss, Miami, or South Carolina for the last team in. I think right now the best team out of those four is South Carolina, but the problem is they lost to Alabama, they lost to Ole Miss, so I can't put them in, even though I think they're the best right now. Bama's out of those four teams. If Miami just had some sort of a defense, it'd be nice, and they'd be able to get in. I'd probably
more quality victories.
I'd probably put Miami in because
they have fallen flat.
You know, to me, the SEC, they're great. It's a great conference historically. This year, I don't think they're a well-rounded conference. They don't have that one dominant team. Like
Can we
Georgia,
just blow up the conference?
Georgia's not good.
Can we just blow them up?
It's funny. I look at Miami as like, even though they have Cam Ward and what he's done this season, he's not the Heisman Trophy winner, but he came close.
No defense.
Exactly. Like out of those four teams, I'm leaving Miami out. If I had to leave one out, it's Miami.
You know what though? They talk about the college football playoffs, and part of it is star power. Like that was the reason, remember, last year for leaving Florida State out.
Right, that's why South Carolina won't make it.
That's why Miami might, because everyone loves Cam Ward.
You lost to Syracuse.
But the problem is
Syracuse get back in that game. Then Syracuse isn't awful, but you shouldn't have lost that game. You have a chance to cruise to the 12-team playoff, and you blew it.
Now, you let Fran Brown send Dabo to the championship round, baby.
Now, selfishly, I think Alabama's going to get in, and I kind of want it because Alabama's going to have to. I think right now the way it's lined up, and we'll find out tonight when the rankings come out.
Why do you want Alabama?
Because I want to see Alabama go play at a place like Notre Dame in the snow or a Penn State in the snow.
That's
I want to
interesting.
see the SEC go north. I've been saying this forever. I want to see the SEC go play in the north, in the cold.
Also, an Alabama team that's not that great, so you might get to see them go up there and actually get their asses kicked.
Look at Georgia struggle in the cold, and you could say, well, they play Georgia Tech, another team from the South. Georgia Tech also goes to places like Boston throughout the year, and they play in this cold weather stuff. Georgia struggled. It was 39 degrees in that game. I know people laugh at me when I say this, but I do want to see the SEC play more games in the snow. And look, I also want to see the Big Ten teams come play in the South, but I'm more intrigued. The Southern teams never go north in the cold. Even when Notre Dame and USC play each other, like let's use USC, for example, as a warm weather team. They played Notre Dame last game of the year when it's at USC. But when they play Notre Dame at Notre Dame, that game is in September.
All right, Nick Wise is going to hang out for the blender because we mentioned during the blender yesterday the new role that Andrew Luck is taking up for Stanford, and we want to talk to Nick about if that's something that we're going to see more of moving forward.
And by the way, real quick, Alabama, I just got odds from sportsbetting.ag. Will Alabama qualify for the college football tournament? Yes is a minus 300.
Yeah, they're going to get in.
Very heavy favorite. Miami, will they qualify? Plus 600, yes. Big underdog.
The blender and more on the future of college football and how it could be changing right in front of our eyes coming up on the other side. It's the Pat and Aaron Show. Nick Wise hanging out on 95.3 WDAE and AM 620.
WDAE traffic update.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's.
Early morning crash on southbound 275 just before the Howard Franklin Bridge. Now for the most part cleared. All four lanes are back open, but traffic still slow from downtown Tampa. Also seeing delays southbound Veterans, south of Gunn Highway towards the Courtney Campbell Causeway and the airport. Still big delays on the westbound side of Gandy Boulevard and the bridge towards St. Pete. That's all because of that crash on southbound 275, so expect delays if you're heading that way. Get traffic info around the clock by searching News Radio WFLA on iHeartRadio. I'm Randy Myers.
Black Friday is back at Lowe's.
Mazda of Clearwater. Nick Wise, I was very intrigued watching the interview the other day with Andrew Luck talking about his new role at Stanford, and he's taken over as not taken over because he is the first general manager of football at Stanford, and he's going to be in charge of helping out with raising money and recruiting, and he says he's going to be very hands-on with the program. And just watching the interview and thinking about how athletics work, I'm thinking like, well, first of all, probably a great idea, right, to bring in a guy like Andrew Luck to help run the football program and to be a face of the football program and to help drum up money and all the different things he's going to help with. But second of all, probably just the first of many, right? Like, this is going to be something I imagine we'll see across college football before long.
Yeah, no, it's already happening.
Who else is doing it? I've never heard of anybody else being a GM of a college football team.
Teams have general managers. Alabama's got a general manager, too. A lot of them have hired him in the past couple of years, or the last year, I would say.
Why is Andrew Luck the first one I'm hearing about?
Because I think that Andrew Luck is the first one that anyone really knows. A lot of them are like scouts. You know, their names don't really ring a bell. Like, if you look up Alabama's general manager, his name is Courtney Morgan.
Do you think that changes then? Do you think
Courtney
we start
Morgan
seeing,
came from Washington.
Do you think that changes, that we start seeing more figureheads as opposed to
maybe, maybe not every team, but it's just like, it's like the Lightning. Steve Eisman was a hockey player. Now they got Julian Brisebois. I don't think he had an NHL career. Correct me if I'm wrong. But,
I have no idea,
sometimes former players will become GM. John Lynch. But sometimes it is a business guy.
But it's a very different role than it is going to be in college.
I mean, it's a general manager. He's going to control the finances, and he's probably going to control who they spend money on and how they raise money. So it's different than an NFL general manager role, but it's a general manager role at that. So it's going to be... a guy like Andrew Luck played the sport, so he gets it. Also went to Stanford, so he's smart. Probably is good with numbers. So you're going to get both. You'll get former athletes, but you'll also get guys with just good with numbers. Those jobs.
I think it's a little different. I think you can go a little deeper with why people are so intrigued by Andrew Luck. He's a guy who retired from the NFL way earlier than we all expected him to.
Yeah,
he was on his way to what a lot of people assumed to be a Hall of Fame career, and then he didn't just do media. He just disappeared. He went away.
I know. I'm so jealous.
So there's a lot of mystery surrounding Andrew Luck.
Well, you don't think Andrew Luck's had a great life? Like, you turn 30 and you just disappear?
Well, because
you rich?
You said you were jealous not about like his great career. It seemed like you were saying you were jealous just about him going away.
Oh, to be retired at like 30? What would be better than that?
For me to never retire.
Okay.
Like, I don't ever want to retire. I want to do this until I drop dead.
You can do that if you make as much money as Andrew Luck. You just play podcasts in your room. Something.
Well, that's what I would do.
I wouldn't be the GM. I'd be hanging out on the farm or wherever it was he was hanging out on.
And that's right. Like, we don't know. There's so much mystery around where he went. And then remember, he showed up again, and we're like, he's so skinny, doesn't look like himself.
He did look weird.
It was like Where's Waldo with Andrew Luck for a while.
He did come out of nowhere.
You just had to find him and whoa, my God, there's Waldo.
But I think that's most players when they're done playing, is you don't really see or hear from them a lot.
Disagree.
And with the exception of the guys that go into the media.
And a lot of them do, but guys that end their career early,
a fraction of them do.
But also, you don't have guys the stature of Andrew Luck, a number 1 overall pick. He took over for Peyton Manning. He had success, and then because of the injuries, he decided, shocking, right as the season's starting, that he's done. He's calling it quits. So the mystery surrounding
I got a couple guys I can name that did that right off the top of my head.
Who?
Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson.
Quarterbacks, not quarterbacks.
No.
Also,
when's the last time you heard from Dan Marino? One of the greatest of all time.
Wasn't he on the CBS pregame show for a while?
Yeah, but I haven't
then he
seen him in a while.
Yeah, he was doing a lot of media. Did Barry get? I was a little young. I guess it was late 90s.
The Tom Brady roast.
Early 2000s, late 90s. But did Barry retire because of injuries?
Barry retired because he was sick of losing.
Yeah, he retired because of the Detroit Lions.
And Calvin maybe the same thing, but more so like
nice.
Andrew Luck, I think, was the injuries thing freaked him out. The injuries started to freak out Andrew Luck. And, yeah, he was a number 1 overall pick, a quarterback, a guy who took over for Peyton. I think all those elements make it intriguing to go, oh, he's back. What's he doing?
No, I think he made the right decision. He didn't want to get hurt. Imagine when Andrew Luck and Tua meet each other in 30 years. Like, there's going to be a difference
Andrew
between
Luck
the two
will
of them.
still know who he is.
Correct.
Oh, man.
I'm
it's
still
the truth.
shocked.
It's the truth, by
It
the
is
way.
the truth.
It's
sad. He didn't want to become that.
But you know what? Like, Tua, you have a chance to not be that. Well, maybe. I don't know. But, like, you're still playing. You still go out there. You know the risk.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to, like, joke about it. But on the other hand, it's like,
What do you mean? It's easier for me to joke about it. If he's going to be so flippant about it, why can't I?
That's what
I'm not even joking about it. I'm being for real.
But
Like,
we laugh a little bit because in general, like I agree with you. Like generally, that is not a laughing situation. But I think it makes it easier to make a joke out of it because Tua knows the risk and he's still doing it, and that's on him.
And inappropriate jokes are fun. We just need to get back to a place where we can all admit that.
Yeah.
Is that not true?
No, I agree with you. We'll get there, buddy. You just keep pounding away.
we're never going to get there.
Did you see the
Don't tell
meme or whatever it was that somebody put together with Tua Tagovailoa as
Ace Ventura?
the guy in Ace Ventura?
It's hilarious.
Thank
Absolutely
you.
hilarious.
Well, there you go.
But we're not getting back to that. We're at a point where we can
might.
secretly laugh on social media in our rooms alone.
Yeah.
But when you're with people, we're not. They tell us we're not allowed to anymore.
The Attitude Era will never be back.
We're going WWE here?
That's the reference.
Yeah.
Because if you
Are
look
you
at
a- you're
WWE,
a WWE guy, are you?
No, I'm not 10. But the WWE, you look at the way that they've done things over time. They've changed with the times, and like the Attitude Era is
why we hired
coming
her.
back.
Which I loved the Attitude Era, and I
coming
did
back.
like wrestling then. But now it's geared towards 12-years. I don't know how an adult can watch it.
That's
No
why we
offense.
hired a wrestler as our president.
It's true. He's in the WWE Hall of Fame, you know.
He was, yeah.
Yeah.
There you
And
go.
it is still fun, damn it. 46 years old and I still watch it. I don't care.
I don't get it, man.
Well, I'm sure you watch something that's not real, right? You don't
It's
watch
not that
any
it's not.
fiction?
No, it's not that it's not real. It's that the storylines to me aren't good. Like I missed the storylines of Vince McMahon having an affair because his wife is all pilled out in a wheelchair.
Was Linda
Like,
pilled out in a wheelchair?
yeah, that was that was an actual storyline.
Wow.
She
thought
was
you
like a
watched-
zombie and she couldn't
Oh,
move.
okay. I kind of remember that.
Like,
I remember
like
all
those storylines.
You watched the
her and-
Netflix thing, right?
Yeah, some of it. I didn't finish it. Her
Oh.
and Stephanie fighting each other. Stephanie is still so
Did you
hot.
hear the one storyline that didn't get approved? Vince threw out the storyline that Stephanie was going to have a baby by him.
Oh, that's right.
And she was like, no.
That is, why would he ever? He is a real degenerate.
Oh, yeah.
For him to come, and the best thing about that documentary is him not knowing that all this stuff was going to
Yeah,
come
him
out.
saying,
like,
well, him going, Mr. McMahon's a different character. It's just a character. It's not me. And then everyone goes, no, Mr. McMahon it's him.
Yeah,
it's the
well,
exact
yeah.
same
but it's
guy.
great how he thinks he's looking at it. He's like, I'm not who you think I am. It's
Right.
like,
Have you
oh,
ever read the
boy.
lawsuit? Actually read the lawsuit?
No.
That's a lot.
I heard it's dirty.
bad.
It's
I
shocking.
heard it's dirty.
Yeah. He's got nicknames for things that we can't talk about on the radio, but yeah, it's a lot.
We'll do a podcast.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. Maybe not about that.
Parlay of the day coming up. I've got a parlay of the day. I'm going to put it at Jacobson on air. I'm going to put it at 95.3 WDA on Instagram. Check the stories.
All right, that's all we have time for today. Nick Weiss, thank you for hanging out. For Casey Warner in the penalty box for Aaron Jacobson, I'm Pat Donovan. Thank you to the men and women who serve our country and allow us to be morons for a living. Sorry, Mom. Not the rest of you.
Help me, Jesus! Help me, Jewish God! Help me, Allah! Ah! Help me, Tom Cruise!